but I think it needs to be said. We just need to clear this up front so there's no questions. Outlaw Radio is really, really sad to say goodbye, but Paul has moved on to some bigger and better opportunities with his business and his wife and his family, and he'll no longer be a part of the show. We love him. We are hopeful that everything that he has planned is going to work out for him. I've known the guy for 20 some odd years and love him like a brother. You okay? Getting all choked up about this? I love him like a brother, and I'm really, really sad to see him go, but April Fool's 2 days late, bitches. Anyway,
I was going to say Monday was April Fool's Day.
I know, but I did it with a good straight face for a little bit. Hey, no, Paul's not going nowhere. He'll be here just a little bit.
Do you know Monday was my anniversary?
You got married on April Fool's Day?
F-Bomb and I got married on April Fool's Day.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, our one of our tattoo artists is ordained. We got married by our tattoo artist on April Fool's Day.
That is outstanding,
that is
man. Happy anniversary.
Apropos for you
How
guys.
How long have you guys been married?
Married only 7 years.
That's
Yeah.
still.
Oh, thank you. We've been together 14, but
Listen,
we got married
your
for 7.
relationship from the time that I was with my ex-wife, you've about doubled in your marriage when we were actually together like a couple.
Oh,
So there you go. That's awesome, man.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Well, thank
That's
you.
good news, man. That's good.
and then today is my mom's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to Tom's mom. What's her first name?
Marsha.
Marsha.
Yeah, she's never
heard that
No.
before. Happy birthday, Marsha. We appreciate you. Thanks for what is on the screen there? Oh, those are different.
Just
okay.
yeah,
that's what that is.
different notifications.
I just found out that my tabs are expired on the Jeep.
Oops.
Because I posted a photo of what I put on the window of the back of my Jeep. It's an AT-AT and a TIE fighter killing stick figures, and it says the Empire doesn't really care about your stick figure family.
Yeah.
And my license plate is visible, and somebody just realized that my tabs expired in September of last year. Oops. I swear I got my tabs done. Maybe the tab fell off. I'm gonna have to research it now. I can't believe that I didn't get my although there's been a lot going on the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So,
I bet you my tabs are more expensive than yours, even though your vehicle's considerably newer.
Mine's less than $100.
Really?
Well, yeah, for the Jeep, it's like $98.
Oh, okay.
$93
Mine was
bucks.
$103.
Actually, mine's gonna be $93 because I'm not gonna do that stupid $5 donation to the Parks Department.
Yeah, even without the donation, mine's like 308 or something.
I'm not doing it.
Stupid.
I ain't doing.
You aren't paying for gas tax.
I ain't hearing it.
It's true.
I ain't fearing it. All up to my ears in it. Yeah. So again, Paul's going to join us shortly. Some programming updates for you. There is no show Sunday night. We're taking Sunday night off. It's the annual Sunday we don't do a show. What I wanted to do was hand the show over to Lori and Andy and have them do the show. Because I thought a 2-hour show of women talking about women's things would be enthralling radio. But then it occurred to me we have nobody to run the show because Dennis will be at the house, and I think Philip's coming to the house. So we're going to take Sunday off. It's the annual WrestleMania party. If you are a loyal listener to the show and you want to be invited, send me a message. I don't care. What are you going to do, stalk me?
You welcome that.
Please stalk me.
Yeah, it's
Please give me some attention.
Yeah, it's friendly attention.
I'd love to have somebody peering through my windows. It'd be great. But anyway, we'll do the WrestleMania show on Sunday. We will return next Wednesday, and then a week from Sunday, the 14th, Brandy Cruz joins us again. I'm so excited to have her back on. It'll be a good opportunity to chat. God knows she's knee deep in stuff herself. You know, the Lauren Culp fight and all the Rhino BS and just so much stuff.
Yeah, but Brandy's not a Republican.
No, but I'm just saying. I mean, she's knee deep in the middle of it because she doesn't like.
And she got called out.
She gets called out all the time. God bless her.
Bob Ferguson's campaign manager called her out.
For what?
Oh, I saw that episode. that was funny.
They will no longer be providing comments for Brandy Cruz because she openly supports Dave Reichert.
She endorsed Reichert. So they were. Oh God, what was she trying to get info on? It was the fact that he never supported the public safety stuff. They were asking for his statement like 2 or 3 years ago or whatever about
where he said he openly did not support that.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that was hilarious.
Look, I would, if I was, I'm going to ask you about this, but do you wear it like a badge of honor that Bob Ferguson doesn't want to talk to you anymore? Because if he said, K-Dog, F off, I don't want to, I'm not, nothing. You don't exist to us anymore. I would feel like I've reached the pinnacle of my radio stardom. Bob Ferguson hated me.
Yeah. With the distillery, I have said on more than one occasion, if I ever get a C&D from another like major commercial distillery, I will frame it.
But why would you get a C&D though? Hold on. For those of you in radio land that don't understand legal terms like I do, a C&D is a cease and desist.
There you go.
Not cease and assist, but cease and desist. But why would you get one? Can you bring the chat up into the comments box? Yeah. It's easier for me to screen that.
So if I were to make a product that too closely resembled somebody else's product, they thought I was maybe plagiarizing or something, I could get a C&D.
Yeah.
Or for labels, if a name of something is too close to another name of something, I could get a C&D.
Okay.
But if I do, I will frame it. It'll go over my desk.
Totally should.
Oh, absolutely. Totally should. I'm a threat to someone.
Corey reminds me there is a fine for getting for having expired tabs. There is. Yep. However, in Washington State, it is now a secondary offense.
Right.
So you cannot
there's no police pursuit.
You cannot. Yeah, you can't. And you can't get pulled over because your tabs are expired.
Right.
So they have to pull you over for something else.
Right.
I'm more likely to get pulled over because my stereo is too loud, because that some bitch is loud.
Which I don't think you can get.
I think you can get pulled over if your stereo is too loud.
I don't think so anymore.
Oh,
that's old 90s stuff, man.
I don't know.
Really? Because mine gets really loud, and I've been right next to a police officer.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I crank up some. So there's nothing like me cruising down the road playing some NWA.
NWA? You mean you don't have Journey at 10 decibels above pain at all times?
10 decibels above pain. Did you know that "Don't Stop Believin'" was named by Rolling Stone as the greatest? Paul is in the chat, but I don't see his video, so I'm not sure if he's there. So,
yeah, we talked about that last broadcast, I thought. And I think there's better Journey songs for that.
Jane, it's not a stock stereo. I spent $4,000 on the stereo in that Jeep. There's nothing stock about that stereo. Trust me. Anyway, "Don't Stop Believin'" was named the greatest pop song of all time. Now, I don't think it's 80s. Pop, but no, the greatest song of all time. All time.
That's a stretch.
Better than any of that Queen bull crap. Freddie Mercury. La, 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 my bicycle. Whatever. All right.
Well, I mean, if you want my humble opinion, then both Journey and
can we ban this Wahabu Adu Al Hassan, who's now spamming the chat? How do we do that? Get them out of here. Well, Corey, if you have a $20,000 stereo in your car, it's going to be better than mine. Duh, $4,000, $20,000. It better be better than mine, or you got hosed. All right. I don't want to bring. Well, I don't know if Paul, unmute your microphone when you're ready, and then I'll see it's unmuted and I'll bring you in.
Pablo.
All right. Coming up later, we are going to discuss an L&I. All I know is it involves L&I, A&I. No, not L&I. The lottery, right?
Washington State Lottery Commission.
Washington State Lottery.
Just say Washington State. AI and porn.
Washington State, AI, and porn.
All together in one topic.
We'll talk about that later in the show. There's also an interesting story that came out about a 28-year-old woman in a different country.
Holland,
the drug capital of the legal drug capital of the world. And she has decided at 28 years old, because her depression is so awful, that she wants to ask the government to end her life.
She already has a date set in May.
Yeah. Assisted suicide.
Yeah. So I found some interesting, when we get into this conversation, I found some interesting history, I guess, on the process of assisted suicide, specifically in Holland. Holland was one of the first countries in the world to codify, the idea of human euthanasia.
Well, there's always been euthanasia. How do they get to the old people if they didn't sort of? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all.
It's a joke that keeps going.
Yeah.
All right. So a whole bunch of stuff going on. We'll talk about all that later. Listen, I want to open with and there's a big article on CNN about Journey too.
Please no.
There's a huge article about Journey on CNN. See, they're the greatest band in the history of man. They're not writing about Queen anymore. Queen old school. They don't matter anymore. Journey's the best ever.
Yeah, except the end of that headline said something about the person being wrong.
Yeah, he said, I once dissed Journey in a concert review. Man, was I wrong.
I missed the dissed part. Yeah, I just saw something about review and Journey, and then man, was I wrong. I was like, you really want to pull that headline up there, Kevin?
Yeah, of course I do. I read it earlier. You do. Yeah. I read it earlier.
Oh, all right.
Listen, I want to open with what's going on in Israel, because the situation in Israel is getting gradually worse for the Israelis. Now, again, it was a poop show for the Palestinians in Gaza, because they're really most of the population there. I know that a lot of people who listen to this show are not going to agree with me, and a whole bunch of them are anti-Palestinians in addition to anti-Hamas, which to me are two very different conversations, and that's fine.
The Middle East has been a poop show for a long time.
I mean a poopier show.
Okay.
Because the general population in Gaza was stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yes.
The rock was Hamas,
yes,
which used them as human shields, corralled them in places where they could be, their hope was that they would be deterrents to Israeli airstrikes and military action, because there was a whole bunch of civilians there. And really, they don't tolerate a whole bunch of backtalk, right? If you dissent at all, they've taken pages out of Nazi Germany's playbook on how to deal in the middle of the night with people who dissent.
Most of the civilians that live in Gaza are women and children.
Yes, at this point, most of them are.
Right.
So you have that. On the other side, you have the Israelis. And as I've said before, I don't envy the position the Israelis are in, because they were attacked in their homeland by people that came across the border. They feel like they'll never be safe again as long as Hamas exists.
Well, they're surrounded by a bunch of people that don't like
right.
them.
But in this instance, Hamas specifically carried out the attacks in October.
Yep.
And they don't feel like they'll ever be safe as long as Hamas is allowed to exist. And again, I'm not talking about the Israeli angle on that. We've had that argument on this show 100 times. We'll have it again. But I feel really bad for the Palestinian people that are stuck in the middle. So I'm not pretending that doesn't exist. But for the purpose of this, we're gonna look at where Israel finds itself today. Because what they've done over the last 3 months Sean, Kevin, stop using Gaza and Journey to deflect from discussing your love for Chad Kroeger. We'll talk about Nickelback later. I like your pants around your feet. That's the opening line to my favorite song by them. I like your pants around your feet. All right, listen. So Israel has steadily escalated the poo-poo platter of screw-ups, right? They killed 2 women that were in a church. Israeli snipers killed 2 women that were in a church that were Christian women that are not associated with Hamas. One of the women they shot as she was trying to save the first woman that got shot. That was bad. They also killed 3 hostages that had emerged from an area that they struck. They had their hands up and their shirts off. They're Israeli hostages. Yeah. The Israelis killed them anyway, even though their hands were up and their shirts were off. So it was obvious that they weren't packing nothing or carrying nothing. And the Israelis shot first and answered questions later. And then, and again, these aren't the only 2 examples of their mess-uppery, right? But then they took out the World Central Kitchen. Now, if you haven't heard about the World Central Kitchen, they're basically a group that was formed after some people that wanted to do good went to Haiti after a major earthquake and realized that food was hard to find. So they founded this nonprofit called the World Central Kitchen. And what the World Central Kitchen does is they go into war zones and disaster areas and they prepare food and they feed people. They feed the civilians that don't have food because they're in these awful areas. So World Central Kitchen had a group of people. And they still have a group of people. Not everyone was killed, but they have a group of people that are serving in Palestine. An Israeli military strike took out the World Central Kitchen and killed 7 of their nonprofit volunteer workers, one of which had a dual American Canadian nationalist, a Palestinian, 3 Britons, an Australian, and a Pole. Probably related to Paul because there's not many of them left. Okay.
When did this happen? I missed this headline.
This happened on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was busy.
Could be
Monday.
3 days ago because of the time difference, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was busy Monday.
The IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, said, oops, it was a grave mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not intend to harm the workers.
Yeah, but that's their third grave mistake.
At least.
Yeah. Well, the third, I mean, in this conversation, it's third easy example.
Yeah. And now there was also a hospital that they took out last week, a 6-story hospital leveled to the ground, not leveled to the ground, part of it leveled to the ground. A whole bunch of injured people are still there. They need to be evacuated. According to the American Red Cross or the International Red Cross, if those people aren't evacuated, they're all going to die because of the extent of their injuries and the inability to get quality medical care in this shelled out hospital. Israel says that they took out the hospital because Hamas was using it as a base of operations in the basement, and they were basically using the hospital as cover, which I 100% believe.
What one thing you do have to give Israel is their intelligence is usually, I'm not saying it's perfect, but their intelligence is usually spot on. So when they make those decisions about collateral damage, like hitting a hospital, agree with it or not, I'm not condoning it, but if they're going to blow a hospital up, they usually have pretty good intel, and they know that something. Although it's not a whim.
Look, I'm an idiot. Shut up. I'm an idiot. And I know that I could probably hit any hospital in the West Bank and probably get some Hamas members in the basement.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Because it's standard operating procedure for Hamas to do that, to camp themselves in civilian laden areas and areas that they should be excluded from hitting because of because of the Geneva Convention, and they think that they're safer there.
Hamas, they're not.
They don't follow the rules of war.
Right? They don't follow the Geneva Convention because they're not a sovereign state. They're
true,
and not a member.
And I do find it somewhat laughable that they complain that Israel's hitting civilians when that's what they did in October. But none of this other stuff matters, right? Here's the problem. We talked on Sunday's show that Israel's facing the wrath of their own population now. People are rallying in the streets to get Benjamin Netanyahu to resign his post.
Mm-hmm.
They want the Israelis to strike a peace deal that frees whatever the remaining hostages are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you have home pressure, which is tough, right? We saw that in our country with Vietnam. Home pressure is tough.
We're still seeing that right now.
Not to the same extent as Vietnam.
No, not the same extent as Vietnam.
But home pressure is tough. Home pressure and international pressure is really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because Israel's going to find itself on a slowly dwindling atoll of support. The Brits are already having questions and reservations publicly after the killing of the aid workers on Monday, with some in England calling Britain to pull out of supporting Israel.
Yeah.
And Israel cannot afford to be in a position where the only country backing them is us.
Right.
And I mean, our administration's getting pressure too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
During an election year.
Well, and listen, and here's my fear if you are an Israel supporter, right? My fear is, if you're rooting for Israel, is that Biden eventually has to start caving a little bit to the extreme sides of the left that want more support for Palestine and less support for Israel. And Joe Biden right now is a president in an awkward spot.
Pancake rum raisin.
Losing backing from some elements of the left.
Mm-hmm.
What better way for him to bring some of them back in the fold if he comes out and says, you know what, this strike on Monday, the hospital strike, all this other stuff we've documented, we really got to reconsider our support for Israel because they're just going too far. And you heard Anthony Blinken come out within the last couple of weeks reminding Israel to minimize civilian casualties. And then the hospital, and then this thing with the aid workers.
And did you see the aid worker van?
No.
Clearly marked on the top of it with a food basket and their logo. And then also on the sides, white van on the road. And the missile went straight in.
But all of that doesn't surprise me. Because if Israel believes that Hamas is operating there somewhere, I mean, like, do we think Hamas would not put a sombrero on a van and call it a Mexican food relief truck and hand out tacos to civilians while planning exercise? I mean, if Israel believes that's the thing, they're going to take it out. But you can't continue to have these mistakes if you're Israel and expect the international community to continue to back you. You just can't. And eventually it's going to be Israel and the U.S. and everybody else is going to tuck their tail and walk back. And Israel's going to find themselves in a bind. Hold on, we'll talk about this more in a second. It's the Outlaw Radio Network. You're listening to Mega Talk.
Are you ready to elevate your spirits? Look no further than Black Rain Spirits, your local craft distillery nestled in Town Square Mall. Indulge in the smooth richness of our handcrafted spirits, meticulously distilled to perfection. Whether you prefer the bold kick of our bourbon or the subtle sophistication of our gin, Black Rain Spirits has something for every palate. Visit us today at Town Square Mall and experience the essence of true craftsmanship. Black Rain Spirits, where passion meets perfection, unconventionally traditional. Hey, it's K-Dog with the Outlaw Radio Network. We are everywhere. You can follow us on all your favorite social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Vimeo, and more. And if you want to follow me personally, hop on your Twitter and just search for K-Dog the Outlaw. And don't forget our really cool website, outlawradionetwork.com, full of all the cool merch you've been looking for. Outlaw Radio Network. Are you an outlaw yet?
All right, Facebook, 1 minute.
What up, Facebook? Hey, by the way, I want to remind you guys really quick before we come back to this conversation. We are all over the Puget Sound Relay for Life that's going to be held in Tahoma this June. Right now, Outlaw Radio Network is the largest
donor,
fundraiser or giddy of money receiver of donations for the relay. What does that mean for you? It means get on the bandwagon. It means donate. It means get involved. We're all going to be down there. It's going to be in June. June 8th. Thank you. We're going to be down there on June 8th. We're going to have all the Outlaw peeps down there. What I would like you guys to do is come down and join us. Make a donation, obviously, but let's make a footprint. Let's make some noise. Let's get down there and relay. Let's get some noise going. Let's get some funds raised. Let's get some awareness up. We're going to do some live broadcast stuff down there. We're going to have a lot of fun. We hope that you can join us. So follow us in the coming weeks. We'll give you some more information. It's Outlaw Radio coming back on the AM side after this on Mega Talk. Mega Talk.
Yeah, you had a little longer than I thought, but that's all right. It's 15 seconds.
How close was I to the minute that you gave me? Was I pretty good?
Yep.
God, I'm a freaking pro, man. Don't try this at home. All right, Outlaw Radio, back after this. Really, I promise. .com.
I'm Brandy Cruz, host of the Undivided Podcast, and you're listening to Outlaw Radio. Good luck.
Outlaw Radio.
Good luck.
Good luck. Again, Brandy Cruz joins us 2 weeks from tonight. So looking forward to having her on. Share the show. We'll be doing a drawing on May 3rd for more Outlaw swag. Every time you share the show, you get an entry. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your family's friends, tell your friends' family about the Outlaw Radio Network, and get the show shared.
I thought you were about to say show shorn.
I almost
was like,
made it
whoa,
through that.
we all getting shaved or something?
Seashore.
Sally Never mind.
I almost made it through. All right. Paul is here. Let's bring him in to join us. Outlaw. Dennis, you want to unmute him? Hello, St. Paul, the voice of... What's up, buddy?
Yeah. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. How's that one? It's close to the seashell one, but I can't pronounce my S's that fast. Anyway, can I listen? I think you brought up some really good points, Kevin, as I was listening to you talk earlier.
Yes.
And it's very good at
hold on. Did you hear the prank I played at the beginning of the show?
No, just something about how it was after April 1st.
Okay.
And you were like, well, yeah, I know. And
I made an announcement that you had left the show and moving on to bigger endeavors with your wife and your kids. And we really appreciated your years of service, blah, blah, blah. And then, April Fools.
Oh, well, F you very much. I mean, that's cool. Dang, dude.
April Fool's joke on the listeners, not on you.
Well, I thought it was well, never mind. I'm going to leave it alone. I was going to say that's almost as good as ghosted me and hanging up on me while I'm halfway through the word hello. Listen, so you made some really good points in your opening statements about how what you're not surprised, right? And for those that don't have a really good grasp, I know some of our listeners do, like Sean and a few others, really understand this idea that if you're Hamas, you can't go toe to toe with Israel. You can't. So what's your best strategy for winning, right? Your best strategy for winning is turning public opinion around the world against Israel. And what has to happen for that to work? You have to maximize civilian casualties. There has to be blood and guts on television. You have to make Israel look like the aggressor. That's the only way that Hamas wins. That's it. There is no other way that Hamas wins. There's no snake to cut the head off of. I understood your point about Bibi Netanyahu. I will say this. They have a cabinet that all the parties bring people together. It's like it's a war cabinet, right? So when they go to war, all of the political parties put their number of people on that cabinet. So there's no one true leader when Israel goes to war. So whether or not Netanyahu is in office or not is 100% irrelevant. And the people that are spending their time trying to remove him are utterly wasting their time. But go ahead.
Does anyone know how long Netanyahu's been in power? I mean, it seems like a really long time.
Listen, he is a national hero. His brother was killed in action during the raid on Entebbe. He was, in fact, the only Israeli soldier killed in action during the raid on Entebbe. You guys are aware of the raid on Entebbe?
Yep.
Back in the 1970s, when Israeli special forces went in, there'd been a commercial airliner that was hijacked, and the Jewish passengers that were on there were taken to Uganda and held hostage. And the Israelis went in and basically killed all of the terrorists and rescued the hostages. And Benjamin Netanyahu's brother, Yanni Netanyahu, was killed in action. Since that day,
Yanni wasn't he a keyboard player or something? Sorry, go ahead.
Gosh.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's not you, Paul. It's Kevin. It's Kevin.
Just clearly.
Move along, Paul.
Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. So I think maybe the closest way to explain this is like he's like a Kennedy is here, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of love for him just based on his name. He's been in public office since the 1980s. Dude's been around in a lot of ways. He's not that much different than Joe Biden. Sorry, I swallowed a dick. So anyway,
Dick Cheney. You meant Dick Cheney. I know what you meant.
Yeah, right. That white stuff, man, it's making my nose itch. Anyway, it's really a testament to the Israeli people, I think. The patience that they are having with the government. And listen, you made up a really good point. The worst thing that could happen is that it ends up being the United States and Israel, right? And we're the only ones that are backing them. But that's how Hamas has to win. And Hamas knows that, right? Mm-hmm. So I would feel confident I don't know this for a fact, but I would feel pretty confident in suggesting that Hamas and other and their supporters around the world they have people in positions to spread information, some true, some false, right? They don't need to lie about everything. Oh, we need to pump up the civilian casualties. Great, no problem. We can have a bunch of people grab white rags, throw some ketchup on them, and talk about all the dead civilians. It's not that civilians don't die. They do, right? Mm-hmm. This is war. I don't want people to lose sight of the fact that the folks with the kitchen, all volunteers, God bless them, they're in Ukraine as well. They do good work.
Yep.
But don't forget, they are willfully choosing to enter a war zone. In my mind, they are not combatants. However, they are making the same choices as combatants, right? When you're a war reporter, you may not be carrying a gun, but you are just as much at risk.
Yep.
These folks are just as much at risk, and they understand the risks when they volunteer to do it. It is a war. It is a war, plain and simple. And I am not of the mindset where during a legitimate conflict, during a legitimate war, where we're going to start picking and choosing who we hold accountable for what. I think that's incredibly disingenuous.
Mm-hmm.
And as human beings, it's poor form. So was it a mistake? Yep. End of story. In my opinion, it was a mistake. It's tragic. It's horrible. End of story.
Yeah.
And Israeli, I didn't even feel that Israel needed to really, they made a very profound and heartfelt apology, which in my opinion was much more than they needed to do. They didn't, but they did. And so God bless them for it. And you were talking earlier about the citizens of Palestine. And again, this is one of those things that I'm afraid, because of the negative press the civilian deaths are causing, people lose sight of the fact that the Palestinians themselves in 2015 voted Hamas into power. And this is not like we are looking around before this war began and seeing the citizens of Palestine rising up against Hamas. They weren't. 2.1 million civilians. Estimates of 30,000 members of Hamas. Well, those aren't even close numbers, man. And I think that if we are going to look at the Nuremberg trials and we are going to hold people to that standard, that needs to go for everybody. You don't say, well, we're not going to hold the Palestinians to that standard because they're Palestinians. Like how come they get to escape that? Right? We held the German people to that standard. We held the Japanese people to that standard. Now what? 70 years later, we don't want to hold the Palestinians to that? When you are a people of a region or area and you vote in and in fact support openly a government that has done the things that Hamas has done, you don't get to turn off the spigot and say, woe is me. Like this guy right here, I'm not going to feel sorry for the Palestinians. It sucks. And in whole, yes, it's tragic. But it was a complete FO and find out moment, man. And it'll go down under, history's greatest military blunders. Well, we didn't think they'd kill us all. And you expected what exactly? There's no way. Can I just point out, there are 30,000 members of Hamas who were all in on this October 7th plan, including several members of the media. How many civilians do you think were aware of what was happening and about to happen and before it happened? I would guarantee you thousands of them knew. Thousands.
You think that many?
I do. I believe that in my soul. Because you had civilians at the gates where they blew stuff open, sitting, helping the Hamas folks coming back, helping them transport hostages. I'm sorry, dude. There's no way that happened and nobody knew. I am not that naive. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know how sure I am to blame the Palestinian people for the election in 2015. Let me tell you why. In our country, we have issues with our elections. Mm-hmm. We have questionable ballots and a whole bunch of weird stuff going on.
For sure.
I can't believe. Now, again, I'm not over there. I haven't observed it. I know that the UN had expressed voiced some concerns about the electoral process in 2015. I don't know if I have any faith that Hamas was actually elected legally, correctly, without some type of intimidation, interference, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's like Vladimir Putin. He just won his election by, what was it, 87%? I believe that. Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know about that. And the end result is they're an oppressed people. And the largest population group in that country are women and children. They're not going to raise up against that government. They're not going to.
Hold on. Where do you? Okay, now I don't know the answer to this. I'm not really pushing back. I'm just going to ask, where do you get that information? I've heard it repeated, and I don't know where it came from because I haven't been able to find it. I also haven't gone looking for it. I would just like to know where those Palestinian demographics came from.
So hold on. So this is from an article from NPR. Again, take it for what it's worth. Children make up nearly half of Gaza's population.
What does that mean, children?
Children under 18 make up nearly half of Gaza's population. So Gaza's population skews younger. And I'm just going to do quick math. If we're looking 14 and under, they represent 15. 12 and 12 is 24, and 15 is 39, 40. 40% of the population is 14 and under. Another 10% are 15 to 19. And it makes sense, right? I mean, it's a destitute, poor country. Living conditions suck. Medical care is awful. A lot of their men are dying through terror attacks and
through combat
and terrorism, right? So it makes sense that they are bottom heavy in their demographics.
I'm going to say this to you, Kevin. Are they really? Because I'm sitting here right now looking at the life expectancy of people in the state of Palestine. What is it in the United States? 78, right? Something like that, right around there, 78 years old. Yeah. You know what it is in Palestine? 76.7 for women.
Yeah.
71.9 years old for 71.9 years old for men. So are they really? I'm just, when you put both sexes together, it averages out to 74.3 years. They're only 4 years behind us on average. 4 years.
Yeah.
So
the numbers I'm looking at don't back that up, which I think is part of the issue, right? We don't know whose numbers are right. Mm-hmm. We don't know how to determine if the numbers you're looking at or the numbers I'm looking at are correct. And that's part of the argument with any data or numbers or reporting is it's all skewed. I'm sure that NPR picked out numbers that they wanted to pick up that backed up the agenda message of their story that they wanted to put out. But the end result is, let's say it's not almost 50%. Let's say it's almost 40% are women and children. Well, I mean, this says 50%, almost 50% are just the children. And then could you argue that half of the other 50% are women? I mean, that'd be logical, right? I mean, women and men should be pretty close to 50-50. I would probably argue there's more women than men in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip because so many of their men are died in combat and terrorist-related activities. So could you honestly argue that 70% are women and children? Maybe. I don't know. But they're not going to rise up. Even if it's 40%, they're not going to rise up. That women are oppressed and beaten down and marginalized and forced to wear burqa jihad stuff out in public, and they're submissive and subservient.
Kevin, no, they're not. They're completely westernized. Yes, they're completely westernized.
Not in West
Bank. They weren't wearing burqas. They're not, and they're not Muslim. They're Arab.
In the West Bank?
Some of them, of course, are Muslim. But you make it sound like they're all Muslims living in Iran. That's not even remotely close to the status in Palestine. No.
Yeah, I don't argue with you on this.
West Bank and Gaza is that's a potpourri of all kinds of different faiths. I mean,
it absolutely is. Tom's 100% right. Yep.
Christianity and Islam. So
absolutely.
That area is. I keep saying it, but that area is so culturally complex that we Americans are not going to get it. We're not.
Okay.
We're not
Tom,
going to comprehend it.
We don't have to, just like they don't have to comprehend life in the United States, right? Like, you know, we have to comprehend the difference between good and bad, right and wrong. And we can get into the conversation, right? By the way, the median age in the state of Palestine in 2023 is 19 and a half years old. Okay. That's the median age. There are 5.37 million people in the state of Palestine. All right. And I'm calling it the state of Palestine because that's what they choose to. That's what they choose to be called, right?
Okay, so hold on. The number,
incredibly young.
The number you just gave, the 19 point whatever median age.
Yes.
For those who don't understand,
19.6.
median means an average, right? Median means that's kind of the middle. You're going to have 50% fall on one side and 50% fall on the other. So 19, that would back up the idea that almost 50% are under 18. I mean, that would back up the numbers that NPR used.
That is incredibly
That's very young.
Yeah, as far as
that's a whole bunch of future Israel haters and future U.S. haters, by the way.
Huh?
Which is, I think,
that's part of that leads to potpourri,
and it leads to Israel's argument, right? Yeah. You can't leave an ember burning, or that fire will pop right back up again when you least expect it. Yeah. And I hate to say that. I hate to say it, but it is my opinion of 10 years in the U.S. Army and 20 plus years on radio studying this stuff. It sucks, and people can attack me all they want. You know what? But it doesn't change the reality of the fact on the ground. They picked a fight. They picked a fight with an enemy that was essentially in control of the neighborhood, but was keeping peace, right?
Yep.
And they picked a fight with the guy they knew with the guy they knew would beat him down like a red. Facing the entire fight, they picked on this idea that we're going to get the world to support us after a whole bunch of our people get killed by them, and we're going to put them in a position where they will get killed by them. And for Israel, it is an absolutely no-win situation. So at some point, when you're Israel, you got to tune out the Kevin Chambers of the world, and everybody else who's going to sit around and criticize you.
I wasn't criticizing. This is what I hate.
I know you weren't.
You think I was criticizing?
No, I was listening to everything, Kevin. I'm simply drawing a point. It's not about you personally. Stop taking it personal.
So So two things I'll say to that. One, that is where Palestine is winning this war. Is in the public opinion polls, right? In the world opinion thing, because every time Israel takes somebody out, rightly or wrongly, right? Like, I can understand, I'm not saying that I'm in favor of it, but I can understand why the World Kitchen people got taken out. They were in the middle of a war zone. I don't understand the snipers at the church killing the 2 Christian women. And I don't understand the decision by the Israeli military to kill the 3 hostages that walked out of the building with no shirts on and their hands up, and they still killed them anyway.
Well, I understand that and I accept that more than I accept the World Kitchen people being taken out. They were taken out by a drone, by the way. Yeah. And so, the drone took them out. Whoever was piloting that drone felt that it was a legitimate target. Why would he think it was a legitimate target? He would have been watching that truck, watching the people go in and out and around it, right? And there would have been information that he was seeing on video that was leading him to believe that those were Hamas fighters, maybe loading boxes of stuff in and out of the truck. And from 5,000 feet, it's a little tough to tell.
Yep.
And he erred on the side of caution, right? Maybe he thought they were loading explosives in the truck. Like you said, nobody's going to put it past Hamas to grab a truck and put a sombrero on it, right?
Yeah. And make it a Mexican taco truck.
For sure. So they were erring on the side of caution, right? I'm going to take out this truck and I'm going to save the lives of I don't know how many people. And if I kill innocents, that's war. Sucks. Yeah. Now the snipers taking out the people that were coming out. I won't judge them. I wasn't there as far as understanding the situation on the ground. I don't know if there were just people with suicide belts on, which I'm going to be honest, if Hamas knew that they were going to turn some hostages loose, and again, they're trying to get more additional bad press, it only makes sense that they're going to create a situation where they know Israel's going to shoot first and ask questions later. Now, how do they do that? You put those Israeli soldiers in a situation where they're forced to pull the trigger. And there's plenty of ways to do that, right? Listen, everybody has the right to be critical of Israel and the way that they're conducting this combat role, right? Just like everybody has a right to be critical of anybody. Nobody is beyond reproach. Now, having said that, I personally am not going to give in to the criticism of Israel. I have far too expansive of an understanding of what the situation on the ground is like. And, therefore, I'm going to take it for what it is. And it is full-fledged combat. The Palestinian people bear some responsibility for it, And again, we look at those statistics. There were 30,000 people in Hamas approximately, and 5.1 million Palestinian people. Now, with that taken as a whole, if you consider that, let's take those that are 19.6 years and under and put them aside. Okay, that's still 2.5 million adults.
Yeah,
2.5 million adults versus 30,000. Pork eating, bra wearing, panty sniffers. Right. That's what those folks amounted to. So
the Israelis don't eat pork though. Just so you're clear.
So
I wouldn't know that. I have no idea.
It's
problem, a kosher thing.
Yeah. What the problem with the whole area is that, Paul, you said it right. In order for this to end, they have to completely wipe out Gaza. They have to wipe out.
I believe that.
Okay, but hold on.
I do believe that.
You guys are missing the entire argument that I started with this whole thing, which is let's go back to the front.
No, I'm getting back to that.
Okay, go ahead and go.
Yeah. So the only way this fight is going to stop from a cultural standpoint is to wipe out everyone in Palestine. That's
and
not
it sucks, but it's true.
And it
it's
does
true.
suck, but it's not going to happen either. Israel will not take it to that point simply because of international pressure and internal pressure. Yep. So
I agree.
This problem is not going to stop. If they're not willing to go through and kill every man, woman, and child in Palestine, and I'm not saying they should, but if they don't, it's going to perpetuate like it has for
100%, Tom.
generations.
Okay, but hold on.
So what we need to do is pack up our toys and go home.
Okay, look, libertarian moment brought to you by Black Ring Spirits. Look, let's get back to my original point, though.
It's okay, Tom. I won't judge you.
Which was not a condemnation of what Israel isn't doing. That wasn't what I was getting at.
That's not what I'm doing either.
What I was getting at is when they continue to have these moments that play bad. The shooting of the nuns, the killing of the 3 hostages, the taking out the hospital, and now this one about the World Kitchen folks.
But those are.
Let me finish.
Okay. Go ahead.
God bless you. When all those things continue to happen,
bless your heart, Kevin.
Now this week you have the British coming out and questioning whether or not they need to pull back support for Israel because of it. At some point, this just becomes too nauseating for the world community to continue to support Israel, and they're going to start backing out one by one. And eventually, right or wrong, I'm not saying this should or shouldn't happen. I'm just giving a projection, right? Eventually, it's going to be Israel and the U.S., and that's going to be it. Because countries like Britain and countries like Belgium, they can't continue to lose people in a high-profile way that the general public looks, not whether or not it's true, but the general public looks at it like, Israel screwed up again. Oops, Israel's killing civilians on purpose. Israel doesn't care. And that's going to hurt Israel's cause in the long run. And so that's what I worry about. I just worry about Israel either deciding, one, well, we're going to lose all the world support anyway, so let's just level this place to the ground because it's not going to matter. Or two, Israel suing for a peace that isn't ever really going to be a peace because they didn't finish the job. And then this just resurfaces. Like, no matter what happens now, Israel, like you said earlier, Paul, Israel's in a no-win situation. But I think that no-win situation is stepped out into how they eventually have to end this, because you've also got protests in the streets trying to get Netanyahu out. They want the rest of the civilians, all of that. It's just, I think Israel's in deep trouble in this. Not militarily. They can squash them like a bug. But in perception and in supplies and in morale, I think they're in really big trouble.
Well, yes.
Yeah,
but and going back to what I was saying, though, if they don't completely eradicate every person in Palestine, they're going to have trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But there's not a right answer.
No.
So what the international community needs to do is pack up and go home.
I disagree completely.
Why?
Because if the international community packs up and goes home, it leaves Israel completely to their own devices.
Yes.
And their devices in that region have not benefited them in the long run.
Correct.
What they have to do, and what the international community should do together with them, is a Marshall Plan.
Mm-hmm.
You have to Marshall Plan. For those of you that don't know what the Marshall Plan is, the Marshall Plan was basically our plan after World War II.
Right.
We decimated all these nations. We bombed all these nations. We wiped them out. We took out their infrastructure, their industry, everything. And at the end of the war, we understood after World War I that what screwed us with the Germans was the Treaty of Versailles neutered Germany from being able to do anything and sunk their nation into abject poverty. And that fueled hate, and it helped lead to the rise of Hitler.
Right.
Okay. So that's all that's been happening in the Middle East.
Yes.
Israel pounces, kicks the crap out of them. They rise up because they hit Israel again. Now, again, there's more to it than this, but it's just a cycle feeding on itself now.
Yes, because you go and you kill the dad of a 11-year-old little boy, and it was the evil idea for the evil American. And so it just, I said that last show.
So you've got to Marshall Plan them. You've got to go in and rebuild infrastructure. You've got to go in and rebuild economy, rebuild industry.
That doesn't change the hatred, though.
It will help mitigate some of it.
The hatred there is so culturally deep.
I get it, but it's culturally deep because you're poor and uneducated. Listen, there was a lot of white folk in the South.
Yeah,
that hated blacks.
Yeah,
and would
Massa, I ask you, how you know, Massa? There was a lot of white people in
would lynch a black at the first moment they saw them.
Yes.
Okay. Now we are 150 years past the Civil War.
Yes.
I wouldn't say we fixed the problem.
Nope.
But have we made great advancements in that stride? We certainly have. And how did we do it? After the Civil War, we realized we had to start rebuilding infrastructure, rebuilding cities, rebuilding towns. We had to give them something to look for that was a positive.
But how long
lift them out of poverty?
How long did that animosity last?
Oh, some of it's still there.
Yeah. And I mean,
well, I'm not saying it's better, but I'm not saying it's fixed, but it's better. If we go into Gaza Strip and the West Bank and we start giving them the opportunity to live like the rest of the industrialized world,
it's still
internet.
It's still gonna be 50 years.
Here's you not sleeping on a mud floor in your hut. Here's you not drinking contaminated water. Here's you guys not fighting over one well in a town of 1,000 people so you guys can pump water out of the well to bring back to your kids. That's not how anybody else in the world is living, but Israel has allowed that to perpetuate itself in Gaza Strip and the West Bank, and then they wonder why they still hate them.
So the problem is still cultural there.
It is.
If you go and give, that is a very, very conservative part of the world.
Yeah.
Give them the internet. What's on the internet?
Porn.
Every liberal thing.
Porn. The internet is for porn. The internet is for
not
porn.
going to be well received.
I don't know. Listen, what caused the
Just grab your mouse and double click for porn. What
caused the Arab Spring? Twitter. Access to the outside world.
Yeah.
Hold on. We'll continue this on the Facebook side. When we come back around other stories on the other side, when we come back on AM, it's Outlaw Radio. It's Mega Talk Radio. We're back after this. Tom is my own personal Jesus.
So many things.
Reach out and touch.
Heather, watch out.
Coming for your man, boo. No, listen. You can go ahead and kill that before we get neutered by the censors. What caused the Arab Spring? Access to Twitter and the internet and outside ideas and what the rest of the world really looks like.
Right.
We want to undermine Hamas and undermine the fundamentalism that feeds the Arab hate. Give them access to the internet and the outside world. Let them see what it really looks like.
And
they're going to see that in their cities, they are sleeping on mud floors in clay buildings, scrambling for food and water and survival, and their children are starving in the streets, and they're going to hop on the internet and look and go, this is how people live in Port Orchard? This is how people live in Ottumwa, Iowa.
And
then they walk into a store. They have money. They have car.
Minute.
It would undermine everything they. Yeah.
And
Plus
then
they'll see the royal sheiks.
Yeah.
They'll see how they live.
Oh yeah,
and
they'll
be
see.
Like what?
And then Hamas will take control of the internet, and if you're caught using the internet, you'll be butchered.
But they still do it in Iran.
Yeah.
In Iran and in Egypt, and it led to major significant change in Egypt, and it almost led to significant change in Iran.
It'll be different, but it'll still be bloody. It'll be as bloody.
What kind of what kind of nation do you guys think the Gaza Strip was? You guys sound like you're thinking they're living in mud brick huts, and if we expose them to the internet, no, they're not. None of them are. That's a first world nation. Well, it was before Israel got there. You should have seen the people broadcasting live from inside Gaza. You couldn't tell if that was downtown New York City or not, dude. It's why oh God, Jared what's his nuts got himself into trouble because he made some comments about how there was a lot of value in the property that was there, and the points that it could be turned into a waterfront paradise, like Atlantic City or something. Yeah, Jared Kushner. Thank you. That was it. Jared Kushner.
The people in Gaza before the war were inordinately poor, struggling to survive, struggling to feed their families and take care of their kids. Healthcare is awful. The median age is 19.
You don't need healthcare at 19. You're indestructible.
Well, it's why the median age is 19. Is the healthcare for anybody older than that is horrible.
Yeah, well.
I
was trying to.
If you give them access to the outside world, and you give them the knowledge of what the world is really like, you would undermine the crap out of groups like Hamas.
Agreed, but it will be bloody.
It might be bloody, but let it be bloody. Then let people rise up and take their nation back. Let them rise up, and that's what should have happened this entire time.
Well,
if Hamas
is what should have happened, but
they should rise up and take it. And how are we going to help them take it over? We're going to give them a glimpse into what the world really is outside of those detestable borders. Oppression leads to uprising.
Agreed. Agreed.
And there's no way the uprising will be successful because they're not as armed or as able against Israel. So instead, feed them information, let them uprise against themselves.
The civilians aren't armed or able to uprise against Hamas.
You guys are talking about things that are complete mute point, right? None of that matters anymore because Gaza is effectively a shell. Like there's nothing left to Gaza except starving human beings. Yeah. Most of which that are looking to get out of there, with a few that are effectively stopping them. So, I mean, what we're talking about here it's pointless now, right? The only point I'm making is that what you guys were saying about how the people in Gaza were living, it was just way off base.
Seconds.
Yeah, again, that's why I said they need a Marshall Plan.
And what was the Marshall Plan? I don't recall, Kevin. Can you remind me?
I said it earlier. You weren't paying attention. The Marshall Plan was the U.S.'s plan to rebuild Europe and Japan after we destroyed all their cities and all their infrastructure. We went in to rebuild.
Even though we wouldn't have been the ones destroying them.
Are you talking about in Gaza?
Yeah.
Well, no,
we destroyed Germany and Japan, hence the Marshall Plan, right?
But I think it's beneficial to the Western world if we all go in together. Hold on, we're coming back on AM. It's Outlaw Radio. Back after this.
The older people, I know you're getting a little edgy right now, but you better get into me because I don't want to bum you out, but I'm the future of America.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Good evening, my fellow citizens.
It's kind of stony, huh?
It's a real thing. A radio signal from another world.
The United States government presents
the Outlaw Radio Network.
To provide guidance to mankind.
Outlaw Radio. Chojo's in the chat. He's jealous that I wasn't twerking on him. Sorry you missed it. Outlaw Radio. All right. Are we done with the Gaza conversation? Can we move on to other things?
Well, there's one more part to that.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
don't know if you brought it up. So if you did, I apologize. And I think it's probably the biggest news of the last, since the Israeli conflict with the Palestinians has erupted, and that is that Israel, they had this real itch in their ass crack, and they decided to itch, and in doing so, basically blew up 3 Iranian generals in the consulate in Damascus.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big oh crap moment, because of course Iran is vowing vengeance. What that looks like will yet to be seen, but I think that there's a valid point to be made that there won't be much of a counterstrike on the part of Iran. I think Iran's leading party is more concerned about their own continued existence and lives than they are. So I think whatever they do is going to be mostly symbolic, because they're afraid of drawing the United States into a conflict. So just my personal opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think Iran is I think Iran is happy with what Hamas is doing. I think anything that destabilizes Israel and messes with them and makes them look bad, I think Iran is happy about. But I agree with you. I don't see Iran ratcheting anything up. Again, what concerns with Iran, Paul, is the Houthi rebels. Because
Houthi
and the blowfish. They've been
we'll take that. That's where.
Yeah, they've been aggressive towards the U.S. And if I'm Iran, I think I would ask them to just step back and control themselves a little bit. We haven't heard anything from them in a little bit, but I think if I'm Iran, I'd ask the Houthis to just kind of slow their roll and shut their mouths, because I like I said before, I think they are the bigger threat to pulling us into a regional conflict and what's going on in Israel. I think Israel can handle themselves just fine. I think if Syria got involved and Iran got involved, I think Israel could handle themselves just fine. But I could see us getting involved with Iran and in Yemen because of the impact on world trade and U.S. shipping and all of that.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. I'm totally okay with Houthi and the blowfish getting beat down, though. That'd be all right.
Darius Rucker out of this.
They are at least as far as like Hezbollah is by far the most serious threat to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, the Houthis are the single largest threat to international shipping, because they have the means to be able to basically sink ships that travel through the seas surrounding them. So,
yep. It is going to get worse before it gets any better. I think we can agree with that.
I think you are correct. That Isaiah said specifically, it's one of the things that the Templars point to. Says very specifically when Damascus burns, and so that's something the Templars have talked about for years, as one of the signs to watch for. Now, one destroyed embassy does not equate to Damascus burning, but again, something that from a prophetic standpoint, it is something that we pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. All right, Luana, should we switch gears, Paul?
Yeah, let's go from first to second.
Okay, first to second feels like prom night.
Well, it takes some people longer to get warmed up.
Do you have a topic you want to bring up? I have another one to bring up that I just saw that I think might be an interesting conversation to have, Paul. But I know that you had some other topics you had shared as well. Do you have?
No, I didn't share those. Actually, Tom shared all of those topics.
What?
Tom was on it. Yeah.
What?
Tom was on it
for this show.
I always do show prep.
That's why when you asked me, I was like, oh no, I thought there's some good stories he put in chat, man, and I think we should run with them.
Are you talking about the euthanasia one?
No. We're going to get to the bottom of the hour, and we'll get to hers.
That's a great one right there. Yeah, but no, you posted like 3 or 4 others.
I don't.
We should end with mine.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Let me give you this story. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but I just saw it. Did you hear what Bernie Sanders called for this week?
What did Bernie Sanders call for this week?
Bernie Sanders is now calling for a 32-hour work week.
Oh yeah.
That part.
With no loss in pay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you work 32 hours. So 4 8-hour days, but you maintain your same pay.
And you know what? Employers are going to love it.
Employers are?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Because a lot of state regulations, sick pay laws are based on hours.
But you know that would get...
And health benefits are based on hours. So if you're only working 3/4 instead of full time, they don't have to offer you health care. That's how a lot of state laws are. So think about that, everybody.
But you know that would get fixed.
I think that would get changed probably, but
maybe.
Really,
Lori's right. Lori's right. I mean, unless they got changed, and in the test, they've tested this in 4 states, not the whole state, but different companies within 4 different states, and the employers found productivity went up. So as much as they're working 8 less hours, but if productivity went up, then it's still those extra hours you're basically paying people for where they're not in there. They're still making up for it.
Yeah, it's just an increase in efficiency at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe it is, but isn't that a good thing?
Favor of it? You guys are in favor of it?
I didn't say.
I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I would want to see more information.
Yeah, me.
For me in construction, I can't see that it would work for construction because you got to put a hammerhead on a nail,
Yeah, I mean, I can't see it working in a construction environment either. But like my distillery, I don't care. Right. Most of the work I do, I mean, I'd say maybe 35% of what I do in my distillery is like hands-on active work. Mm-hmm. Most of the rest of it's passive. I sit around and my wee beasties.
Your weed?
No,
your
my
weed
wee beasties.
I thought you said your weed. My weed.
No,
I was like, I knew it. I knew it.
But Paul, let me ask a question though.
That's why Dennis hangs out over there, huh?
In construction, do you pay overtime for people that work more than 40 hours a week in construction, right?
Hell no. I tell them if they go over, it's their own fault. Learn how to read a clock.
But what I'm saying is, so if it went to
you're required to. Yes. Yeah, you're required to in construction right now. Yeah.
But if it went to 32 hours and you're going to work somebody to 40, you're paying 8 hours of overtime. Under this theory of a proposal, which could be detrimental to you, right? Because
it wouldn't be detrimental to me. It would be detrimental to the consumer.
Right.
Because the consumer would end up having to pay that extra. Yeah.
Or allow their job to take longer.
Correct.
Because you're only working 8-hour days, 4 days a week.
But if
for
they
sure,
do that, when they have to do prevailing wage laws, they would have to rewrite all of that.
For some, you're right, Lori. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Government contracts a lot of times, so I can't imagine the government. Well, yeah, I can. Never mind.
I could. She's like, actually, I could totally see it. The one thing I think that a guy like Bernie Sanders frequently forgets is the unintended consequences of his ideas.
Yes.
And there would be some massive unintended consequences to basically giving 8 hours of paid time off every single week to every employee.
Yeah. Oh, hey, unintended consequences. Have you guys followed the $20 an hour minimum wage in California thing?
No, it's going so bad down there, man.
Okay, so I'd like to hear this because I don't know how it's going. I have not had a chance. I've been busting butt in a church, much like a Catholic priest lately, and I haven't really had a chance to keep up.
You're going to hell. You're literally going to hell. And
I'm
you're
driving
taking
the bus.
us all with you.
I'm driving the bus.
Is he? Because he's
Forgive
just speaking truth.
Forgive him, Father.
I was going to say one little comment. One little comment.
So this is a headline I've got on California's minimum wage for fast food workers triggers unintended consequences.
Wait. Before you go any further, let's clarify. Panera Bread got a special exemption from this in California because they're best buddies with Governor Gavin.
Are you serious?
Yes,
they got a freaking exemption. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, okay, go Tom. We've set the stage. Okay. All fast food except for Panera Bread.
Right. Okay. So California increased the minimum wage for fast food employees to $20 an hour starting on April 1st, 2024, making them the highest paid workers in the United States in that industry. While the wage increase aims to enhance the quality of life for over 500,000 fast food workers, unintended consequences may arise, including restaurant closures, job cuts, reduced hours, and increased automation to lower expenses.
Yep.
So, following the enactment of the law, several California food chains such as Pizza Hut, Southern California Pizza, Round Table Pizza, and Vitality Bowls have announced layoffs. Some restaurants are exploring automation through order-taking kiosks to offset costs.
And a lot of them are just saying, F it, we'll just let Grubhub and Uber.
Yep.
We'll just let them deliver our stuff for us. Why would we pay anybody?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you tell a business, and Paul, you've run a restaurant before.
Yeah.
If you tell anybody,
hard business.
It's a hard business, and your cost margins are screwed. I mean, your cost margins are really tight.
Yep.
And if you start messing with people's cost margins, they're going to figure out a way to make up that difference. And in an uber competitive market where you're a pizza place or a fast food place and you're competing with every other pizza and fast food place, you're not going to increase your prices exponentially.
No.
You're going to cut people.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. Okay. So I'm not much for fast food, really much of anything anymore. But the other day I rolled through a burger place here in town. I got 2 meals, burger, fries, drinks, $30.
Oh yeah.
$30 for 2, for what? For fast food? Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
$15 a person for fast food.
That's why we've been going to either Harbor Hot Dogs or the Taqueria El Rey 2.0.
Here
in the mall.
Oh, heck, I just go home and cook.
Well, we cook at home.
But I'm just saying you cannot increase everything exponentially and then be surprised when businesses have to make cuts. And again, we're talking about food. Anybody who thinks that the restaurants can absorb that loss. Now, again, fast food's a little different, right? I mean, they're making profit hand over fist with all that laboratory grown beef that they sell at McDonald's. But regular restaurants, mom and pop restaurants, not the chain ones, things like Taqueria or whatever it's called, 2.0, whatever. I don't speak Spanish.
2.0.
Any of these mom and pop restaurants, even pizza places, their profit margins aren't huge. And if you cut into that, plus increases in workers' comp insurance and insurance for your business and all the other stuff, car insurance for their delivery drivers and all of that.
And fuel costs right now, which drive the cost of everything up because you got to get your stuff from point A to point B.
Of course. If I had a restaurant like Domino's, I'd say, screw it too. You can just order it through your app and we'll send it out through Uber Eats. Lori?
So in my professional world, we call California the country of California because everything is so exaggerated. But I would like your guys' honest opinions. I really feel that we are watching over time a social experiment being performed in California.
How do you mean? I think that's a really interesting concept. What do you mean, Lori?
Well, I mean, they've always been progressive on everything. I mean, I remember the 70s and going down to visit family in California and all the smog. And then, regulations came out through the EPA, which were great. I don't have a problem with that. But California's been like the test subject and social experiment for the last, 2 or 3 decades.
I think it's been longer than that.
I don't think it's
probably, yeah.
I don't think it's an intentional social experiment. You know what I mean?
It's certainly not mindful.
Hold on. Let me answer.
Okay.
I don't think anybody is sitting back thinking, let's test this stuff in California and see how it works. I don't think anybody is that far-sighted and intelligent to do it, because then they would know that some of the stuff's not going to work at all.
Hey, Kevin, that's a good point. You're a Democrat, right?
Yeah.
just checking.
But I do believe that California has always been more progressive.
Yeah.
And other places, Washington, sees what California does. And if we think it'll be beneficial here, well, California's already tried it. It didn't blow up. People didn't rebel. So we can do it in Washington. So I think they're a trendsetter, but I don't think anybody is frothing at the mouth about what other social experiment can we do it in California to see if it works.
Have you met Gavin Newsom?
Yeah. Have you met Gavin Newsom and the fact that Jay Inslee and Kathy Brown had a coalition during COVID?
But I don't think Gavin Newsom is that bright.
No, I don't think so either. No. I think he's the puppet, and there's a.
Right, he's okay, you guys. I think he's like dangerous, like Gru, man. I'm like, he's got his own minions and everything, dude. He's an evil genius. Just look out.
Well, and he's got Jay Inslee just dying to dry hump his legs. So,
which is it is too, right?
Be careful. Like, get that with water department and the AI. That'll.
The whole West Coast.
Oh, sorry, glory hole.
the whole West Coast.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! She glory hole. I can't believe she said that.
Well, hey,
Governor Glory Hole.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Now we know who's on the receiving end of Jay Inslee's.
On the receiving end of the glory hole.
Hey, Gavin Newsom.
I got a new nickname for Bob Ferguson if he gets to become governor.
What?
He's the bottom. Okay, so there you go.
That explains so much.
The bottom, because you've hit rock bottom.
Are you sure he's not a switch?
Better to be a pitcher like this guy than a catcher like that guy.
Bring out.
I wasn't pointing at you, Kevin. It just worked that way. My bad.
Whatever,
sorry.
Paul. Shut up.
So mean. So mean.
So hold on. So back to this shorter work week thing. I think. I think it's an interesting idea, but I think that conservatives and the right would lose their minds, because the first thing that would have to happen for that to happen is the government would have to impose it on its own workforce first. And can you imagine the outrage if federal workers like me got moved to a 32-hour work week and didn't lose a dime of pay? I mean, people would lose their minds.
Robert Parker.
No, we just look at you like a teacher.
Like a teacher.
You know, working three quarters of the year and getting paid for 12 months.
But I think
that's not factual, though. I mean, they're paid over 12 months because their annual salary is divided out by 12, but they're only paid for the 9 months.
Well, actually, that's right. It's a choice. They can take all their pay over 12 months and have it broke out. Yeah, I get it. I know.
So I don't think it's the same thing at all, because I think
it's not. It was meant to be lighthearted comedy.
But
you're a fool, man. You guys aren't funny. Lori, go ahead.
That I know.
Though, there is the consequence that supports Walmarts of the world, Wally World, because right now the way that their benefit structure is for any of their associates, you have to have so many hours per week, week after week for 3 months, and they have it set on a timer. I mean, there are documented stories about this where they have it set on a timer, and when the associates getting close, like 2.5 months, then they cut their hours for the last 2 weeks, so they don't qualify, and then the clock starts over again.
Well, and then you have issues with unemployment, a number of hours worked, and all. And there's so many wrinkles to this story.
Yeah.
I just
unemployment to Nigeria.
I just shudder at the idea of what this would do politically. Like, we're already at a political impasse where the left is so left and the right is so right, and those of us in the middle ground are kind of left gasping for air.
Yep.
And if the left came out with this, like, first of all, it would be just a boon for Democrats.
Like wine.
No, like a boon, like a big
like strawberry boons. Okay.
It would be a huge success, because if you're a working person in this country, if you're rank and file worker in this country, and you tell them we're going to let you keep your same pay, but you're only going to work 32 hours a week. All these people that have issues with Biden all of a sudden, they'd be lining up to vote for him.
Yeah, but all these employers that are doing employer match on 401k or other investments, they're going to be like, nope.
Well, but again, the employers won't have a say. Because if the law is passed, the employers are going to have to go along with the law. And if the law says you can't jack with your benefits, you can't jack with your pay, you can't jack with your medical dental, you can't joke with annual or sick leave, you got to leave everything the way it is, but they're only going to have to work 32 hours.
You know what's going to happen? Massive layoffs.
Yep.
You think so?
Oh, yep. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I would do.
But they won't be able to.
Why?
Because you're already cutting their workforce down. But right now, you're staffed to run a certain number of hours as a business.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get rid of people.
Yep.
You already can't fully staff the way that you're staffing now. I think businesses would be bent over a barrel. I think they would have to comply because they're going to be losing employee hours as it is.
Then you drive the cost of your goods and services up. And
potentially,
then the whole world bitches and complains.
Potentially, that is the end result.
It's either I'm just speaking as a business owner, right? So, in that situation, right now, medium-sized businesses keep lots of part-time employees on because it's cheaper to keep in a part. Well, now everyone's essentially a part-time employee.
Well, but they'd be called full-time at 32, though.
Right, it'd be called full-time, but they're all intents and purposes, they're part-time because you're not getting everything done in your business that you need employees to do.
Yep.
So you may as well lay them off, save some money, do it yourself.
Well, here's the issue. And this is why I don't like Paul's argument that productivity goes up. Well, productivity probably
does. It's not my argument. That's what they saw as a result.
You were the one that brought it up, though. I just, the idea of productivity going up works in some avenues, like maybe in my job, which is based off of paperwork and processing documents and things like that.
White collar.
Maybe my productivity would go up. I don't know. Maybe it would. But you know whose productivity is not going to go up? The people working the tills at Walmart. The people that are doing construction.
No.
Because you can't do more in 32 hours that you did because you can only hammer in a specific number of nails or pour specific amounts of concrete.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? You just can't. And so maybe white collar jobs would see a benefit.
Maybe.
But jobs that require actual amounts of time,
skilled trades,
that
you're done.
There's no way Paul is working slower and he would suddenly work faster because he has Fridays off. Hold on, we're gonna go to Facebook chat about this a little bit more when we come back. A chick wants to kill herself because she's depressed. We'll dig into that story. Stick around. It's Outlaw Radio.
Oh, that's going to be exciting.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Outlaw Radio.
I have something to add.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Oh my God, Kevin.
Oh my gosh. Okay, did you guys catch the news?
So when you make a sandwich, you put some mayo on one side and go ahead.
Oh.
Wow.
Did everybody notice that Wally World in the last 2 weeks has introduced a new campaign for shoppers?
Oh, what's that?
Well, because they're losing their butts on self-checkout because people aren't paying for everything and blah, blah, blah. And they got rid of their cashiers because they thought they'd save money and they're losing more in merchandise than they did.
And those door checkers are just not.
No,
they don't even really check. They look at it. They look at your card. They're like, okay.
So now.
Yeah, they seriously don't look at that stuff.
No.
Yeah. So now they're getting rid of half of the self-checkout. And they're not increasing the cashiers. And if you want the opportunity to do self-checkout, $98 membership fee.
Really?
For a year.
What?
Yeah. So $12 a month to be able to have the privilege of checking out your own groceries. I'm sorry.
Thankfully, I don't shop at Walmart.
Me either, but kiss my ass?
I can't
I don't think so.
stand that place.
Yeah, I can't either.
They'll just lose more.
Nauseous.
They'll just lose more money, more sales.
Yeah.
Most of the goods are junk.
Yeah.
I shop at Walmart a lot for groceries because it's the closest place to my house. When I lived in Bremerton, I shopped at Safeway because it was the closest place to my house.
Yep.
Safeway's closer to your house.
Safeway
it's
is close.
right next door to, and Walmart is cheaper.
It is.
If Walmart pulls this pedunky dunk stuff, I'll go to Winco.
If I need something from Walmart, I go to Bimart because the price structure is the same.
Bimart doesn't sell Funko Pops. So I can't.
Oh, Bimart's awesome. I love Bimart.
I like Bimart too. They just don't sell Funko Pops, and I love to buy my Funko Pops.
Yeah, if you can't get it at Bimart, you don't really need it.
Well, that's not true. They don't sell video games either.
Oh,
you don't really need them.
I need my video games. Fuck you.
Wow. Okay, let's
don't mess with my ability to play video games and pretend that my life actually matters and I can do something important with it.
I play video games on my cell phone. That's about the extent of it.
Really?
Yeah, I play a puzzle game. One puzzle game.
I don't love Walmart.
30 seconds.
I'll shop wherever. I really will. I go to Walmart because I got to buy a lot of girl hair stuff for my teen daughter, and they got it at Walmart, and it's cheaper than at Safeway.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Fred Meyer, though?
Fred Meyer is so much more expensive than everywhere else in the world.
Buy Mart.
Fred Meyer is so much more expensive.
I'm thinking about the hair stuff.
Hey, 5 seconds. Fuck Fred Meyer!
Wow. Such hatred and hostility.
This is Spike Cohen, the reigning and defending Libertarian vice presidential candidate, and you're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio. If you missed the conversation on the Facebook side, life sucks by a helmet. I hate Fred Meyer. Fred Meyer, I hate you. I hate you, Fred Meyer.
Don't hate on Fred Meyer.
Everything at Fred Meyer is literally 30% more expensive than everywhere else. I can go buy steak at Safeway, and I'll pay an extra 40% to buy it at Fred Meyer. Is it different steak? Nope. It's the exact same steak. And Safeway steak is way more expensive than it used to be. But Fred Meyer?
Different cow.
I might be a different cow. Listen, for the amount of money that I'm paying for a steak at Fred Meyer, I should get a hand job and then checkout line.
Wow.
Have you seen some of them checkout women?
Good God. Yes.
Damn. He was just angling for the hand job.
Kevin, are you frustrated?
I go to Fred Meyer.
I'm not sure you're understanding where his frustration is coming from, though, Tom.
Okay, I'm going to share too much about myself. I go to counseling. I do counseling every Monday.
Good for you.
Yeah, every Monday.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So when I leave counseling, I come back from Gig Harbor where my counseling is at, and I often stop by the store on the way back because Tuesday is normally my in-office day. So I got to pick up stuff for my lunch so I can take breakfast and lunch with me because I'm in Seattle from the wee hours of the morning until like 6 p.m. Mm-hmm. And so I will stop off at Fred Meyer because it's right off the highway. It's easier to get there. But holy cow, man.
Moo.
Holy cow. They are so freaking expensive.
Wait,
so expensive.
Are you going to the Gig Harbor, Fred Meyer?
No, the Fred Meyer at Sedgwick.
Oh.
Yeah, so expensive. So stupidly expensive. All right.
Their meat department.
I hate Fred Meyer. I hate you. If you work there, you should quit and get a real job.
They have a great liquor selection.
Yeah, well, liquor in the front, poker in the rear. All right. So let me share this story. This is I'm reading it from New York Post, but it's been all over the media accounts. A physically healthy Dutch woman who is 28 years old has decided she wants to be euthanized because she has crippling depression. I'm going to read this to you. This is from the New York Post again. A physically healthy 28-year-old Dutch woman has decided to legally end her life due to her struggles with crippling depression, autism, and borderline personality disorder. I'm not going to try to pronounce her name because it's Dutch and I can't. She lives in a small village in the Netherlands near the German border. I have it. Right there. Yeah.
Zaraya
Terbeek.
Yep.
She is scheduled to be euthanized in May, despite being in love with her 40-year-old boyfriend and living with 2 cats. I'm sure what the cats have to do with this. She once aspired to be a psychiatrist. She's been dealing with mental health struggles throughout her life. She decided to be euthanized after her doctors told her, quote, "There's nothing more we can do for you. It's never going to get any better." She said, quote, "I was always clear that if it didn't get better, I can't do this anymore." She is one of a growing number of people in the West who have decided to die rather than to continue living in pain. That, unlike a terminal illness, could be treated. More people are deciding to end their lives while suffering from a slew of other mental health problems like depression or anxiety, amplified by economic uncertainty, climate change, social media, and other issues, according to the Free Press.
Yeah, someone had to try to squeeze the climate change in there.
She says that she plans to be cremated after she's euthanized on the couch in her living room.
With
music.
Her boyfriend and cat.
No music, she said. The doctor will first give her a sedative, followed by a drug that will stop her heart. Her boyfriend will be at her side until the end. I would be out.
I wouldn't be able to sit with a loved one and see them off like that.
She also said there will not be a funeral. She does not have much family. Her boyfriend will scatter her ashes in a nice spot in the woods that they picked out. Then she also said that she's a little afraid of dying because it's the ultimate unknown. Quote, we don't really know what's next, or is there nothing? That's the scary part. The Netherlands became the first country in the world to make assisted suicide legal in 2001.
And then I've got some statistics actually that I dug up on assisted suicide in the original, like the original codification of it into Dutch law, and it's changed.
Mm-hmm. In 2022, just so you know, more than 8,700 people died in the Netherlands alone through assisted suicide, including the former Dutch prime minister
and his wife,
who died hand in hand
at 93.
They were 93.
Yeah,
not 28.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So euthanasia, in what was that last statistic? It accounted for what year it was. It accounted for 5% of the deaths in Holland. The year before, euthanasia accounted for 4%.
Okay.
Right. So I'm not against the idea, but when you look at what the original legal framework was, I guess, let me see here. I had it. And of course, it's just a second. Here we go.
Yeah.
So the medical law, or the law allows the medical review board to suspend prosecution of doctors who performed euthanasia with the following conditions fulfilled. This was when the law was written in 01. 1, the patient's suffering is unbearable with no prospect of improvement.
Okay.
Yeah.
The patient's request for euthanasia must be voluntary and persist over time. The request cannot be granted under the influence of others, psychological illness, or drugs.
So if she has autism, would that be considered psychological illness? I think is a curious question.
That's not something. Autism is not psychological. That's physical.
I'm not.
I thought there were psychological traits to autism. I don't know enough about autism to know.
I've got very good firsthand experience, and there is very much a psychological impact on that. The patient must be fully aware of his or her condition, prospects, and options. There must be a consultation with at least one other independent doctor who needs to confirm the conditions mentioned above. Okay. The death must be carried out in a medically appropriate fashion by the doctor or patient, and the doctor must be present. The patient is at least 12...
So don't shoot him in the head.
Right. Lead injections don't count.
Lead injections.
The patient is at least 12 years old, and patients between the ages of 12 and 16 must require the consent of their parents.
What? Okay.
What?
Marge, we should have just had the abortion.
Although, listen.
Well, if you've got a 13-year-old kid that has a terminal brain tumor.
Well, that's different, though.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but that is.
Well, let's say crippling depression. Are you gonna? You know what I mean? Like,
right. So I mean I think that's where the conversation in this is, though, really, because in this law was passed in April of 2001, and it took effect April 1st in 2002. It legalized euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide in very specific cases. But as this has gone on, I mean, it became legal in 2002. And, it's been 22 years now. And so now it's kind of evolved into this, well, I'm sad and I want to die.
It's damn disgusting.
So you're opposed to it, Paul?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay, explain.
I'm against it.
Well, this is talk radio. Can you give me a little more than that, Paul? I mean, just a little bit.
Listen, nobody that's in their right mind is making that decision. Okay? A woman who's in her 20s and is depressed, right, is somebody who clearly has mental health issues and is not in a position to be making that decision. She's just not.
Yeah, I agree with you in this case. Now, in the case where I believe this law was written for cases like
terminal illness,
brain
cancer.
You have a brain tumor. You're not going to live. And the end of that life, the end of that life
is
right.
Horrible.
The quality of life, dying from a brain tumor or ALS.
Which is, by the way, legal in the state of Washington. If you have a terminal illness, euthanasia is legal in the state of Washington under certain criteria.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, if your quality, like ALS, I know 2 people have died of ALS, and it's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful for the patient. It's awful for their loved ones. It's awful for their family. And if someone, hell, I think if I were to contract ALS, I would just choose to go on my own terms because I'm going to go anyways. But when it comes to psychological things, depression, no, I think Holland's gone too far. So I agree with Paul in this particular case, but in the spirit of the law, the way it was written, I think you're right, Kevin.
Okay. So let me tell you, let me tell you, or do you want to say something, Wayne?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's like we're bookending life, bookends, abortion, euthanasia.
Well, so here's the difference, right? I don't think that these two issues are even remotely the same.
No, they're not.
Babies do not have the option of whether or not to be aborted. And this is a decision made by a consenting adult, ideally, in my mind, over the age of 26, right? Since we've already established the human brain does not stop developing until 26. So you've got to put a limit on it, right?
Yeah, but starting at 18, you can have a conversation with a reasonable adult.
Again,
even if they're still developed, they still have command of reason and logic. And,
I'm just using 26 as the numbers because the left has used that number in California. Sure. You can't be sentenced to the death penalty in California because your full frontal cortex is not fully developed till you're 26. So if that is the fact, then I don't think you can allow anybody to make a life-altering decision like that. And yes, that would be this. That I would equivocate that to the same thing as gender reassignment surgeries until your brain is fully developed. That's a whole argument for another time. Holly's going to pee on my grave, but.
Are you into that?
Oh, please! She didn't need asparagus.
But in a weird world, I'm actually okay with this, and I'll tell you why.
I'm ready to hear this.
If someone is going to kill themselves, they're going to do it anyway. I would much rather
for someone who is truly intent on leaving. Yes.
I would much rather that they do it after a whole bunch of verifications of their mental sanity and a verification that everything has been done that can be done, and doctor visits and counselor visits and family is involved and there's procedures and processes in place. Because the alternative is for this chick in Holland is the boyfriend walks in the door and finds her brain splattered all over the wall because she did it herself.
More likely, just
or whatever,
a dead girl with an empty bottle of vodka and some pills
in the bathtub, or whatever it is, right?
Holland,
whatever it is, I would much rather it go this way. And I will speak honestly about this. There have been times in my life where I bookended my life.
We're not gonna let's not go there again.
No, I'm just saying. There's been times in my life where I bookended my life where I said, "Listen, if I'm not whatever by this date, then I'm figuring my exit strategy out."
And if you're from Paul's Bowl for All, I'll drink a 6-pack of Shut the F Up. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not saying I'm there right now. I'm saying there's been times in my life that I have been. And I understand the premise. And I think that if we're truly about individual rights and we're truly about giving the people their own sense of self-determination that doesn't impact anybody else, it's just about them in their life, then how do we not give them that option? Now, I would hope they seek out help in other ways. I would hope that their faith intervenes, their church intervenes, their friends intervene, their family intervenes, something. But the end result is if we're really going to talk about individual liberties and individual decisions that don't impact anybody else but yourself, how do we not give them the option to end their life if that's how they decide they want to proceed?
Like there are much better ways for them to do this. Like go pick a gunfight with a bunch of cops, right? Like that's a more legitimate way, to go out, right?
You're advocating for suicide by cop? Are you?
There's a name for it? Oh, I just thought I was suggesting a way for people to off themselves Listen, no, it's the height of hypocrisy. My life sucks. I'm miserable. I'm depressed. So you, Mr. Doctor, you kill me and you live with killing a perfectly healthy 26-year-old. No, wait, like you said, you want to do it? Here's a 10-cent bullet and a $50 gun, or a bottle of pills and a glass of vodka, right? Do it yourself.
Or a toaster and a bathtub. No, I know. Okay.
I don't think it's right to put that on other people. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just hate the idea of somebody finding them. You know what I mean? Like you kill yourself with the vodka and the Valium. And listen, when you die,
if you do that, there's time to put stuff away. There's time to put stuff away.
You pee yourself, you vomit, whatever. You bleed if you shoot yourself, slit your wrist, whatever. Somebody's got to find you.
Pretty sure if you do it, you ain't worried about the mess.
No, but I would just rather that if it's going to happen, that it is done humanely and safely and ethically and in a way that doesn't traumatize somebody else. Because if I was that dude and I come home and she's killed herself, I'm going to blame myself forever. I loved her and she killed herself. I wasn't enough. I would think that they've had the conversations and he must be okay with it because he's going to wait it out with her till the end, which is a lot about him, by the way. But I just think it's a more ethically humane way for people to go if they're going to go. Can we take a call really quick? All right. Bob Ross is on the phone. You're not here, but you're listening, which makes me feel happy. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I was just, first question. Paul, where are your bullets other than 22s?
Hold on. Say that again because your phone broke up. What's that?
Oh, I said, where do you find a 10-cent bullet anymore?
That's true.
You steal it from your neighbor.
Well, then it's free. And then if you steal it, your neighbor will give you some more for free.
In your back as you walk away.
I'm hearing Tom a little bit. I'm just wondering, because wouldn't the more libertarian perspective be, we don't want the government, interfering with our right to make a decision? Why does the government get involved? Why do they start requiring mental health anything? Why do we want the government as part of this? Not saying I advocate for that. I'm pretty pro-life, but I do get it.
In this particular instance, that using this example, depression is something that requires treatment. And so, I do know people that have been depressed, and I know someone who had bad depression and he's no longer with us by his own hand. And I think people that suffer from depression, if they were to find a treatment, a way out of it, I think they would otherwise embrace and enjoy life. And so I think the illness there is causing the desire for the end of it all.
I think you're right, Tom.
In terms of psychological stuff, I don't think euthanasia should ever, ever, ever be an option. And the way it was originally written by the Dutch in 2001, that was the case.
Yeah.
And so I think the evolution of this, I'm not against the idea of euthanasia for someone, like I said, who's terminally ill, who, they're dying of a brain tumor, they're dying of ALS, they're any myriad of a million other horrible, horrible things. I don't think it's a bad option. It's they're taking control and that they're going to meet that end anyways. They're doing it on their own terms. But someone who's depressed, or someone who has bipolar disorder, or someone who's schizophrenic, this is not the right option.
Heather said in chat, it's kind of selfish. The ones left are the ones they hurt more. Maybe. Because I wonder if this 28-year-old Dutch woman is having the opportunity to close with the people she needs closure with. Now, it's in the article she doesn't have a lot of family left, but I would assume that those conversations are being had, closures being had, and I'm not advocating that or wishing that either one of my parents had committed suicide. That's not the point. But can you imagine the meaningful conversations I could have had with my dad if he knew the stroke was coming? The conversations I could have had with my mom if we knew the end was coming as fast as it did for her.
Right.
Those opportunities for closure and final words and all of that she's going to have an opportunity to have with her boyfriend or other people that matter in her life. that she wouldn't have if she drank a bottle of wine and took a whole bunch of Percocet or whatever, right? I mean, she wouldn't have that. I do see benefits to this for people who want to exit the world. And I would think that if they go through all those steps, counseling and another counselor to verify and a doctor and another doctor to verify, and they have to request it multiple times and it can't be whatever, then I would think if they go through all those steps, then they were probably going to do it anyway.
My one concern with involving just a regular MD, regular doctor, who, maybe has a 20, 25 year career. And I mean, now we're what, 22 years into, or I guess Holland is 22 years into, acceptable euthanasia, socially speaking. Is life cheaper to that doctor now? Does that doctor say, well, we've done everything, we may as well just go ahead and start you on this protocol here, and you can just,
that's a good question,
take an exit.
That's a good question.
And because that goes against everything that I know anyone in the medical community stands for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What happens when the quality of life isn't what the state thinks is adequate?
Right. I mean,
then you get into eugenics.
And again, remember, the law in Holland says it has to be specifically requested by the patient. But again, all that can be wrangled around, right? I mean, if you go into a doctor and the doctor's telling you every time you see him, boy, this isn't getting any better. You sure don't want to die? Well, this isn't getting any better. You sure don't want to die? Right? This isn't going to get any better. You sure don't want. I mean, I see how they could be planting seeds that lead that way.
Right. I mean, I think something like this could cheapen life, and I mean, you don't want to see life as cheap.
It is. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
Oh, it's like in our chat, I brought up like the cultural attitude of suicide in Japan, and I mean the suicide is a very acceptable end to things, according to the Japanese, and that
they
comes
take a lot of. Let me just get this out really quick, Tom. To your point, it does become a cultural issue, or culture is part of it. They celebrate the Bushido Code and a war and the warrior spirit in an adult male who, when he loses, commits the act of seppuku, right? So ritualistic suicide, because you're basically a loser, is celebrated. I mean, really celebrated.
Well, it's not because you were a loser. You're.
It's my word. I'm paraphrasing, Tom. Jesus Christ, my sense of humor.
You're protecting your honor and that of your family.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, that.
And you're a loser.
Yeah. Okay. It's a different cultural approach.
Yes, for sure. For sure. It's accepted. It's wholly accepted in the culture, for sure.
So I'm just thinking back of a personal experience. Had a friend who was on his third time with, I can't remember what the cancer was called, but the cancer of the bones, and very, very painful.
For sure.
As he was approaching the third time, it was told to me he died because of the cancer. Well, in reality, he ended it at his own hand. And his wife was traumatized, and his 5 children, and all that unfortunate stuff. But in my mind, suicide is never the answer. But I kind of get it when the pain is so great. That's hard. I don't think it's chickening out. I think
you're.
Well, so that's the difference between, like a physical malady, ALS or some of those syndromes that just cause excruciating, unending pain. That's a big difference from, depression. And I'm not trying to minimize depression. I know people that have suffered with depression and struggle with depression. But that's, I think it's just so much more treatable than something like ALS, which there's no way out of that. Your end is going to be ugly.
Yeah. I'm in favor of it. I'm not advocating for people to commit suicide. That's not the point. But I think that people are going to do that if they really want out bad enough. Mm-hmm. I think there's a moral, ethical way to do it. I think there's a humane way to do it. And I think making them jump through a whole bunch of hoops. I think a lot of people would find it changes their mind. I think treatment options can be found and new ideas can be found and new ways of dealing with it can be found. I think it'd be beneficial in the long run, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. There's so many facets to this though, because I mean, it is just culturally speaking, everywhere you go, there's going to be a different attitude to it.
Yeah, no, so, exactly. Yeah. But listen, I mean, for me, I feel like if somebody doesn't want to live anymore, if someone just decides, for whatever reason, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm just done. I'm done. I'm done with the anguish or the pain or the hurt or the physical symptoms, the mental symptoms, whatever. If they're not mentally ill and unable, if they're unable to make their own decisions, and they just decide one day, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, isn't it their right to make that call? It's their life. I mean, I'm not advocating for it, but at some point, don't we just have to let people make their own decisions about their life? Isn't that what personal freedom really is all about?
Yes, yes.
Yes, when it's theirs, but not when they're taking their family with them.
Yeah. Do you think of depression as a mental illness?
Yes.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I think it can be physical.
It will have physical manmanifestations. Yeah.
No, I think physical issues can cause a depression imbalance, and thyroid, for example, can lead to that. There's
but those are all treatable things
potentially,
right? If you have a thyroid condition, then you take the appropriate medication for it.
Listen again, a little more personal than I've always been a little more prone to go to that depressed side. Mm-hmm. And I've often blamed that on my thyroid condition, and it's fully treated.
Right.
It's really, it doesn't mean that the body is doing everything the way it's supposed to be doing. It just means that you've covered up a lot of it with medicine.
Yeah. Trying to find the right help, to find the right prescription. I mean, it's hard to get prescriptions in some cases. They've made it a little easier for some of us in some cases, but,
well, and Bob, listen, add unto that the conversations we've had on this show before about the inavailability of healthcare to the poor and the high cost of health insurance thanks to Obamacare, and the fact that people can't get seen. My daughter's boyfriend's been trying to be seen by a doctor for a medical issue he's been dealing with for months, and he had to book his appointment 4 months out because they're backlogged on the places that will take his insurance. So you're absolutely right. But on top of that, we've created a society and a medical system where getting good medical care is really tough
and expensive.
Mm-hmm. And you better pray you have decent insurance, because if you don't, you're out.
It's not like we all expected to have insurance for free into the single payer healthcare system. I mean, geez, where did that go?
I mean, thanks, Obama. Look,
not like we called how that was going to go 10 years ago on radio.
I don't know if you called that, Paul. Did you call that?
See you later. Is this the right house? Yeah. We were going to hit the DMRS radio. Oh, that's right.
No, we can't. Bob, what'd you say?
I got to go, guys.
See you, Bob. We'll see you Sunday. No,
good night, Bob.
WrestleMania. Goodbye, Bob.
Goodbye, Bob. Bye, Bob.
We're going to wrap this up on the AM side. Remember, no show Sunday. We're going to be doing the WrestleMania party, our 1 day off. For those of you on Facebook, stay there. We're going to get a little lighter. Lori has a fun story to share as we go after dark. We'll do a little bit of a rundown with this story with you, then we'll wrap this thing up. It's Outlaw Radio.
That's right. You heard him correctly. Kevin's going to go party and get dirty with Lori after dark.
No, that's
on
not.
Camera.
No.
On camera.com. Outlaw Radio back after this. All right, Outlaw Radio. We're doing a little bit of After Dark.
Network.com.
I hate you. And
I know.
Hope you die in a fire.
Hey, is this segment going to launch the Outlaw Radio Network OnlyFans page?
We really do need an OnlyFans page, don't we?
This is going to launch.
No, we seriously don't.
Yeah, we don't.
What would we do?
The fuck are you talking about, man?
What would we do on the
Only
OnlyFans
you
page?
guys are on the OnlyFans
Like do you need me to explain it to you, Kevin? Is it like?
But OnlyFans isn't all porn, is it?
It's all naked people.
Is it all naked? Like there's nothing
naked feet
or naked feet. I mean, it is for that
fetish.
Sure, you know.
But so OnlyFans is just naked people.
There's the 3 F's to humanity, right? Feed, fight, and fuck.
Right.
Find them, feel them, fuck them, and flee.
So OnlyFans is only naked stuff.
It's amateur porn.
Oh, that's it?
Pretty much.
We already know how I feel about porn. I think it's the biggest waste of time.
Well, there's women who are like in an apron with no clothing, purportedly, and
making sandwiches.
House cleaning.
Sign up for that.
House cleaning.
Just clean the house
and whatever.
Yep. And men mowing their lawn.
Perfect.
That's what I need to do. I'm gonna mow my lawn naked next.
That's great. Well, you have a lot of people, idea, Lori. You got a lot of people that live around you too.
I do. I live in a pretty inhabited neighborhood, and I don't care.
we could do OnlyFans backwards though. We could just go on there and make the account free and get naked and retarded, and then just do that until people pay us to turn it off.
Oh, so it's like extortion.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Oh, Dennis. That's what I'm going to do when I mow the lawn naked.
So many ideas.
You want me to put clothes on? Give me $50.
All right.
Hold on.
So, are you pulling up the screenshot?
Well, I'm looking up to see what other content. So OnlyFans has banned sexually explicit content. So what else is actually on there is what this...
Never mind.
There's fitness trainers on there. Love Island, Real Housewives. We could do some stuff on OnlyFans. I think that'd be great.
Oh boy. Okay.
No, it doesn't have to be porn. Nobody wants to see porn.
I don't know how I would feel. My wife would be like, "How are you making this extra money, honey?" Oh, we have an OnlyFans site at the show. She'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing with Kevin?"
Shaken.
If you buy a subscription, you can see.
That's right. Honey, you better start paying for a subscription. Just then you get half of it back in the divorce. All right.
Are we getting to Lori's segment?
Yeah, we're going to do Lori's segment.
Because I have to set the tone first.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Before you do that.
Oh, sorry.
Remember, Lori's segment is brought to you by Lori's Beads. She's building a bead empire. One bead at a time. Your anus will thank you. Here's Lori.
All right, hold on 1 sec.
Dude went there, man. Wow.
Who is it?
It's the plumber.
Plumber? I didn't call a plumber.
Oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lori.
Whenever we give Lori a segment, this is her music. Go ahead, Lori.
Oh, this is amazing. Okay, Kevin, I need you to put the screen.
Hold on, turn this down just a little bit. I'm so glad I'm wearing my wedding ring. I'm so glad. I feel much cleaner. All right, go ahead.
Anyways, so today's story is brought to you by the government agency in Washington State called Washington State Lotto, who decided to, try a new game using AI. And Kevin, could you please post the screenshot?
Which screenshot?
The one I sent you.
The one that you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just to me or is it to the whole group?
No, it's just to you.
Right,
so you could post it. Anyways, so Washington State Lottery decided to employ AI and create a new game to encourage people to spend and buy lotto tickets. Now, part of that game is, where do you want to go on vacation? And so you throw a virtual dart, and then it draws up a picture for you of your vacation destination. You place your photo of your face on there, and then AI creates your picture. So, Kevin, can you make that bigger by chance?
Oh my God! Yeah, he needs some proper manipulation, though.
I'm trying to make it bigger, but it won't go any larger than this.
So
that's what she said.
The lady from Washington State. Tom's lost it. She did this back on March 29th of this year, our Lord 2024. And
oh my God.
She's 50 and she posted her picture of her face, and this is what popped out. So if you can scroll in on the picture, it is a woman created image of wearing a bikini bottom. No chesticles are covered. That's why we have a censored bloop over it. And then her face was superimposed on this.
That's great.
And so Washington State Lottery, when she contacted them, they were like, "Oh, no big deal." And so then
big deal.
So she contacted Jason Rantz, and he ran the story. And now Fox News has it. Brandy Cruz had it.
I'd have hired a lawyer, man.
Oh, I think she has. So, anyways.
So does that get shared for the world to see, or is it just her picture and she shares it if she chooses to?
It gets posted on like a chat board.
Oh, does it really?
Yes.
Boy. God.
And this was all done by AI. Anyway, so now the program has been, put out of use for
suspended?
right now. Yeah, suspended.
Yeah, because that'd be something, you get to work on Monday. It's like, hey, you want to come down to my office and few pictures that have been floating around we'd like to talk to you about. Yeah, just go ahead and empty out your desk. Bring it with you.
HR wants to talk to you.
Anyway, so that is your Washington State government agency story for the night.
I mean, I wonder if your OnlyFans page could be you euthanizing yourself. I wonder if
whoa. Now we've gone to snuff films.
We talked about euthanizing.
No, we're lighthearted now.
Think about how much money I could raise for charity if I had a OnlyFans page, and my outgoing effort was to raise money for a charity. I could do something good with something bad.
No. You're twisting the whole thing.
Sure I am.
Anyways, back to Washington State Lottery.
Have you met me?
Yeah, I've met you. Anyway, so feel free to check out the story.
I keep seeing people do cool things with AI, but I can't figure out how to do it. No, but I just mean in general, like cool pictures, like getting their face on like getting Trump's face on a soldier standing atop a mountain riding a lion or something. How do I get my face on something cool in some AI photo? That'd be great.
I don't know.
I don't know how to do it.
I don't trust AI.
I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
Every AI program that I've seen doesn't have a way to import your own picture or photo into it.
I don't trust AI.
I don't care about AI.
I don't trust
I don't care. I mean, there's enough pictures of me out there on my Facebook page and on the radio show stuff. They can get my photo if they really want.
Oh, I don't care about it on a personal level.
And I'm not that attractive. So
I just don't trust it on like a societal level. I right now it's a toy because, whatever. But as
it's being used for everything.
Well, I know, but as soon as we start really giving it control of things like traffic lights and air traffic control. And
don't you drive a self-driving car?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
Wait, what? Say that over. Traffic control.
Air traffic control. As soon as we give AI control of traffic lights and air traffic control,
when your cars will drive themselves using AI, and
eventually, but I don't trust any of that.
No, I don't either.
A relaxed ass is a happy ass. But if it's a tight and unrelaxed ass, it's an unhappy ass.
Wow.
Kevin.
That's amazing, Dennis.
Could you please use this for Lori's Beads commercial?
Kevin. I haven't seen this side of Dennis before.
Dennis has some great music.
My safe word is
Dennis, what the hell, man?
Hey, I told him I needed sleazy music for this topic.
Dennis
Did you
was
use that word sleazy?
I did. It's in the chat.
Research.
I said sleazy. And he did not disappoint.
This
Thank
is
you,
so
Dennis.
out of hand. I can't take you guys anywhere. Trying to do a real radio show, trying to talk about real topics, and
hey,
Dennis hears
This
sleazy
was a
music,
real
and he's
topic.
this was a real topic. And
like, a relaxed ass is a happy ass.
There's so many ways that can go. You know?
And by the way, this is the kind of content you won't get on Jason Rance's show.
Yeah.
And you won't get it on Brandy Cruz's show.
Or on Fox News.
Or on Fox News.
MSNBC or CNN.
Wow.
Because when we report a story, we do it fully.
Wow.
With class.
Amazing.
All of it low.
That's right. Low class. All right, guys.
Outlaw
I
Radio
love
Network.
y'all.
This is White Trash Radio. All right.
I will. Well, white trash and Native American, right, Kevin? I mean, let's make sure we get that shit right, dude.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, I will see everybody. What time is your party this weekend, Kevin?
So here's the way it works. The show itself starts at 4 on Saturday and on Sunday. But I'm telling people they can show up as early as 11 if they want to show up, play some video games, maybe get some poker in. Check out the new Manland game room that I set up with the arcade in it and all my video game systems. All that stuff's set up, going to be ready to play. I haven't hooked up the PS3 yet, so I need to get on that. But otherwise, everything is set up and good to go. It'll be a fun time. Barbecue will be rolling. Food will be rolling. So Paul, show up anytime you want to.
Well, Black Ring Spirits is going to close early on Saturday, but we can't close that early. I mean, got to do a little bit of business.
But you're going to be there all day Sunday, right?
Well, we're open on Sunday too.
I thought the mall was closed on Sunday.
No, mall's open 7 days a week.
Well, considering we're on air on Sunday nights, Kevin, right?
Yeah,
well, we're on the air Sunday night, but the doors are locked when we get here.
Well, the building does close early, so we will be there pretty early on Sunday. But it's.
Well, I'm going to try to be there earlier so I can get my yearly beating in Madden.
Come on over, man. Come on over. We're ready.
Depends on the ride situation there.
Oh, I'll get you there, buddy. I'll just do a loop.
Promises.
Do you want me to bring the Murder Hornet sauce?
Oh, I got some.
That I got
some from the Harbor Hot Dog guys too.
I invited the Harbor Hot Dog guys.
Good.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Do you want me to bring the sauce though?
Bring the sauce. Bring whatever you want to. Yeah.
Because my kids.
What do you
I bought it for my kids and they weren't.
What do you, Paul? What are you bringing to potluck, Paul?
I have no idea yet. I won't be able to be there Saturday, I don't think, because my son has a doubleheader in baseball. And I've already been accused of putting the radio show ahead of my son once in the last 2 weeks with regards to an ex-wife. So I'm going to try to make sure that they understand that that is not the case. Yeah, whole story there. We can talk about that in private.
Yeah, tell her to F off, because she used to come to my wrestling parties all the time too. So tell her to.
I know. It ain't got nothing to do with your party. It's just people attacking the show again.
It's ammo for ammo, man. Paul's before all.
That's right. That's right. So, all right, man. I love you guys. I will see you guys this weekend.
Love you, buddy.
Tschüss. Despeda. Adios, muchachos. Good night.
Adios, muchachos. Lori, do you have any idea what you're potlucking for the big party?
I do.
What are you bringing?
I'm
what are you
going to bring
potlucking?
my usual.
Which is the brownies?
Brownies with bacon.
Perfect.
On top.
Perfect.
And
are you coming both days?
I believe so.
Make a lot of brownies then, because you have to bring them twice.
Yeah,
because people are going to be like, "Oh my god, it was so amazing."
Are they going to be good brownies?
Right.
Well, not your.
Not those brownies. There's going to be children there.
Yeah.
All the funnier.
And then probably some banana bread, chocolate chip, and then I'll probably bring some steaks to barbecue.
Okay, good.
Share with others, and then I don't know. I'm not really a salad person. I might bring like a veggie, sautéed veggies or something.
Okay, you're gonna go all out. Tom, do you know what you're gonna potluck?
I am not sure. I'll put something together because F-Bomb's got she's got an event going at the distillery until I think it's like 3 to 6 or something.
No, is that Saturday?
Yeah, it's her Pampered Chef thing.
Oh,
so if you're a
shoot,
yeah, so
you're gonna have to cancel the Pampered Chef thing, Lori.
I thought it was on Friday.
I
too bad. Messed my dates up.
Life sucks by helmet. You're coming to the wrestling party.
Hey.
So anyone who is looking for Pampered Chef stuff should show up at Black Ring Spirits between 3 and 6.
At 3,
yeah,
and then leave there at 3:30 to go to the wrestling party.
So
Dennis, are you potlucking anything?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Okay.
He and I may collaborate and make something together.
You mean you're going to stop collaborate and listen. All
right. Yeah.
Do you need paper plates?
You can always bring paper plates. I think I have some, but I got
because I have a ton left over in my pantry.
If you'll bring a whole bunch over, that'd be great.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna check, and if I needed some, I was gonna go buy some. I think I'm gonna supply a whole bunch of burgers and dogs.
Napkins.
You can bring some napkins too. Bring whatever you want. Whatever I don't need, I'll get back to you.
Okay. Well, no. I'll just leave.
You just leave it. I have a little storage area in my mud room where I store all my paper plates and napkins and cups.
Cool.
Got a whole bunch of red Solo cup. I got a whole bunch of that.
I have beer pong.
I'll bring it. Bring it.
We can play beer pong.
Bring it.
Oh, I'm in.
Without beer. I played it at Starbucks. Yeah. Non-beer beer pong.
Well, so I mean, what you do is you fill your Solo cups with water.
Oh no.
And then you have shots lined up next to you, so you're not drinking beer that's had mung from
the alcohol kills the germs in your
I
mind.
know, but you still want it to taste like boot from the ping pong ball bouncing on the floor every third missed basket.
I'm gonna get a whole bunch of burgers and dogs for both days. I'll cook that stuff up. I'm gonna potluck. I'll do some buffalo chicken dip, which is my fave.
Okay.
I make it at the holidays. I make it at WrestleMania. Then I go 6 months without making it.
Oh wow.
And I'll have a meat and cheese tray or something there too. As well.
Yeah,
I bought a whole bunch of chips. I bought some soda. You guys can always bring soda to share too, because I just bought 10 half racks of soda.
You know who's very excited for your WrestleMania party?
Isaac?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Isaac loved it.
Oh, yeah. Corey said he's bringing Little Smokies.
Oh, Corey, I love you.
I like Little Smokies.
Perfect.
And Jane will be there after she gets off work.
Perfect.
Thank you, Heather. Yes, I need that.
So, yeah, it'll be a good time. If you want to come and you haven't been invited yet, you can shoot me a private message on Facebook, and I'll tell you where I live if I want you there. And if I don't want you there, fuck off. I'm not going to tell you.
Can I bring stuff like earlier in the morning and
you do whatever you want to?
Then I'll just walk down afterwards later. Yeah, because I know parking's going to be a premium.
Well, I'm
close enough.
I can grab you too. It's a long walk though from the top of that hill. It is a little bit of especially at night. You're going to want to walk home at night after dark up that hill.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You're not going to want to do that. So whatever you want to do, I'll come pick you up, or I'll give you a ride home afterwards. Whatever you need, it'll be fine.
We'll figure it out.
We got other people that are going to be leaving that'll be heading that direction too.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to kicking Dennis's ass at football.
Emmy, your daughter.
My daughter's in the chat.
Yeah,
you're telling me to hurry up.
No, she said WrestleMania has a lot of food, so if you like food, then come.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of food. There's always a lot of food.
There was a lot of food last year.
Oh. So I was at the Northwest Women's Show for Relay for Life.
Yeah.
And
I want to make jokes, but I can't. Go ahead.
No, please don't. Anyways, I stopped by this booth. By this booth.
Who was the man in charge of that?
What? The booth?
Northwest Women's Show.
Ha ha.
I was trying to make a fun.
Yeah, right. Did you know? This is the shiny part of me. Did you know that Como newscasters were there signing autographs?
At the Northwest Women's Show?
Yeah, I'm perplexed by that. But anyways, that's awesome. My shiny moment. Anyway, so I stopped by this booth. It's called Aspen Glow. And they have mixology mixers to make both cocktails and mocktails.
Oh.
I might bring those.
There was for a minute, right before Black Ring Spirits opened, there was a company in Manette called Elixir Fixers.
Ooh.
And they were doing the same thing, but from what I hear, COVID killed them. But all the reviews I heard, they were just supposed to be amazing cocktail mixers. And then, yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, Inslee happened.
Kevin Nelson wants to come if he can get a ride. We're going to make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make that happen.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Fun.
Yeah.
All right. Parting shots. Dennis, do you have any parting shots?
Cooperate with kids. As usual, be kind to someone, and in honor of Debbie Taylor, DT, slap a bitch sticker on it.
Fair enough. Lori, parting shots.
I think that Dennis needs to come on air because everybody needs to see the sweatshirt that is Dennis today. It's amazing.
Oh, his hoodie is awesome.
His hoodie is just amazing.
His girlfriend got him a super cool hoodie.
So everybody,
go ahead and come on camera, Dennis. For those of you who can't see, it says ramen noodle soup weed flavor, and then the picture of under it is weed.
There you go.
Yeah,
those are buds.
There you go. Whatever it is, weed buds. I don't know.
And 0 grams.
0 grams trans fat.
Yeah.
There you go.
It is gluten free, I would assume.
Anyways, thank you, Dennis, and thank you for the sleazy music.
That's right.
My parting shot is be nice to each other. Everything's burning. Everything's a dumpster fire right now. Just be nice to each other.
Yeah.
And,
little do you know.
And if you have some angst, feel free to reach out to the Washington Lottery and send an email. Ask them how their AI program's going.
That's good. Tom, do you got parting shots?
Yes. First, I didn't get to do it on Sunday. So I do want to say happy anniversary to my missus, like out there to the world. Our anniversary was Monday.
Heather, I'm so proud that you have not dumped him by now.
It was her idea for us to get married.
I'm just saying, I'm so glad that she stayed with you this entire time. I think that's awesome.
And so, that's, happy anniversary to my missus as of this past Monday. And today, happy birthday to my mom.
Happy birthday to
Marsha.
Yeah, Marsha.
All right. Anything else?
What, me?
Yeah.
No, I think that's enough.
Okay. My parting shots are as follows. We talked a lot about the suicide stuff earlier. If you need help, seek out help.
Yes.
If you're struggling, talk to somebody.
Yes.
Friends, trained professionals, call the show. Whatever you need to find whatever you need, then, reach out and find it. There may be some people who are really at their wits' end and it really is the end time for them. And that is what it is. But I would assume that most of us are not. But if you're not,
but your friends, your friends would rather hear from you at 3:00 in the morning.
Yep.
Than find out that you did something irreversible.
I'll even make a pot of coffee, and I hate coffee.
Yeah,
but if you're coming
awful.
to my house at 3 a.m., you need coffee, you need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Let's do it. As Andy or Boss Baby posted, the texting number is 988 if you need someone to talk to or if you're having suicidal thoughts.
But that's a permanent solution to what is most of the time temporary problems.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
don't go that way.
Maybe not.
Hey, maybe not. If you've got ALS or something, like we talked about earlier, but otherwise there's other ways.
Yeah.
People love you. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sometimes it's not enough. Okay. Other parting shots. Don't forget that we are helping raise money for the Relay for Life. If you want to be a part of that, I'm going to share a comment in the chat right now that will give you the link to our page so that you can
go team go.
So that you can donate to the Outlaw page. What I really, 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 really want is I really want people to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you can't afford it, then don't afford it, right? But if you can do things in other ways that help address the cause, show up, walk with us. You can hang out at the Outlaw booth. We're going to do some live broadcast stuff while we're down there. Our good friends from Kitsap Great Escape are bringing their portable escape room down there.
Nice.
They're going to run that for donation, where you just make a donation and you get to play the room for essentially for the donation. So if you can afford $5 to play it, here's $5. You want to put in $100 so you can play it, because all the money, 100% of the money raised is going to the Relay.
That's
so
awesome.
Any of the escape room employees that are going to be down there are just going to be down there voluntarily.
Nice.
We're looking for volunteers. We're not requiring anybody to be down there. We're not making anybody give up their own time. But if you want to come down and be a part of it, you totally can.
Nice.
My good friend Cooper is going to be down there with me. She's going to help run the booth as well. So we're going to have a whole bunch of fun down there. We want you guys to join us. Food trucks set up out there, so you'll be able to eat. There's all kinds of stuff going on,
and we're going to broadcast.
We're going to do broadcast down there, right? And so,
and one more thing.
Yes.
The CEO runs the Survivor tent along with Boss Baby's mom. So please, 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 if you have someone in your life who is a survivor or is going through it right now, please.
Well, a cancer survivor, not a survivor of dating me.
Yeah,
but a cancer
survivor. So thank you for clarifying.
Anyways,
have them reach out to American Cancer Society, register for Mount Tahoma High School in Tacoma, Greater Puget Sound, Relay for Life, June 8th, 2024. We would love to see them, support them, all of that.
Has there been any more talk about going to 24 hours on the Relay like it used to be?
Yes, there has been, and we can't get the physical support.
The
to
physical
run it.
support.
Yeah, like the facility for that long, and also the volunteers that it takes to run it
Yeah,
for
you have
24
to have security
hours.
And that part of Tacoma, you need some armed security.
Yeah,
and
we can't have that. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I am as Boss Baby said, I am the host face of fighting childhood cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I got bestowed upon me. There's a lot of really bad nicknames I've earned. I will gladly carry that one to my grave. But yeah, our team is really committed to raising money this year to fight childhood cancer. My oldest son had Hodgkin's lymphoma when he was 5, and so it's personal for me. Now Dennis's sister has dealt with her own spate of cancer, so I'm not deflecting from anybody else's journey or challenge or anything like that. It's just as a parent of a very young lad who had cancer at a very young age, it certainly holds a place for me. So we'll be doing a lot for that, and we'll continue to share the link so you can make donations and be a part of it. And again, I really just want all you guys there. Honestly, I would just love to see all of you guys come out and be a part of it.
And see Kevin in chaps.
Yeah, I'll be out there in chaps. I told them they can dress me whatever they want to. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Listen, I've embarrassed myself for just the sheer fun of embarrassing myself. I will embarrass myself to raise money for charity. Yeah. I mean, I watched Princess Bride, the most abysmal thing I've ever done in my life.
Hey!
And we raised like what, $1,400?
Was it that much?
Yeah, for the food bank. So
whatever it takes. Man. Why we're on Facebook?
Yeah.
You know, why are we shit talking that movie?
That movie was awful.
That movie was not awful.
Why are we adding more subjects?
It was campy. It was stupid. It was dumb.
It was required viewing if you're a competitive fencer.
Campy.
Can we have karaoke at the relay this year? I think we should do an hour of karaoke.
I'm not objecting to it. Oh, by the way, there's silent auction too at every team's booth or tent.
Yeah.
There'll be silent auctions.
Let's silent auction.
What do you want to silent auction?
6 months of free advertising on the show.
Okay.
Are you okay with that, Dennis? Can we do that? Is that all right? I mean, that is advertising on the show, which becomes a radio station issue. Are you cool with that?
I don't see it being a problem.
We'll do co-donated from Mega Talk Radio and Outlaw Radio.
Yeah, we can work sometime.
Okay. All right. 6 months of free advertising on the show.
No, on the karaoke, I think.
What, Andy doesn't want to sing?
Oh, I don't know.
I am woman, hear me roar. Listen, if we do karaoke, I will sing any song people want me to sing in exchange for a donation. Now, the song will depend on the size of the required donation. If you want me to sing I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar or anything by Luke Bryan, you'd better be able to shell out a pretty decent donation. If you want me to sing one of my favorite songs, I'll do that for like $1. But if you're like, we'd like you to sing It's Raining Men, Kevin, $100 donation. I'll sing it. Make a donation.
All right.
Okay.
I like that.
Andy said she'll sing as well.
Did she?
Wow.
Now?
She's private messaged me. She will sing anything we ask her to sing, including I Touch Myself. All right.
For the right donation.
For the right donation.
Yeah. For the right donation.
She said we have a whole entertainment committee. You got to join that to get karaoke.
There you go.
I'm suggesting it. Why don't you bring it up to your entertainment committee? If you did an hour of karaoke, that would be fun. It would break up the monotony of all those hardcore jams that have gotten to be a little bit out of control. Sorry. Little DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. All right. Get out of here, you guys. Remember, no show on Friday. We'll be back next Wednesday, a week from Sunday on the
You mean
Friday?
No show on Sunday.
No show on Sunday. We'll be back on Wednesday.
We never have a show on Friday.
On the 14th, we will have Brandy Cruz live via video. And we love you guys. We'll see you
next Wednesday, Doc Blackwell.
Oh,
Doc Blackwell. Okay, Boss Baby, I hope you're listening. Doc Blackwell in studio?
He'll be on by video.
By video? I wanted a Doc Blackwell hug. Dude gives the best hugs.
Dude is so cool.
And I just
he's got the Doc Love the Kid shoe drive giveaway
that's right.
coming up on the 13th. So
perfect.
Okay.
And he's not going to try to get him in studio. I'd love to have him in studio.
I try.
Tell him.
It's so far from Bremerton.
Tell him I would like to have a bigger conversation with him about, because I know he's really active in the community,
right?
About homelessness, about the economic impact on the streets, about what our kids are dealing with on the streets. I think he'd be the perfect guy to talk to. So see if he's willing to come on and talk about that.
Hey, Dennis. Okay. Hey, Dennis. You can bribe him with a little Discord. I know he's a fan of Discord.
Yes, he is.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Quit adding topics.
Okay.
That's what Dennis said earlier.
Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody. We love you. We'll see
night.
you 1 week from tonight. We'll be back. WrestleMania party on Sunday. I get to watch men in tights beat up other men in tights with steel chairs.
Oiled men in tights.
Oiled men in tights. Maybe I'll oil myself up. Maybe I'll wear my one piece wrestling outfit and oil myself up.
Your singlet?
For all of you, my singlet.
Don't worry, I'll take photos and post them on our page.
I will oil myself up.
And video. You don't need anybody to sing I Touch Myself. You can do it all by yourself.
No.
Good night, peeps. We'll see you later.
I was starting to worry for a moment.
Outlaw Radio, go home.